Boston into the end zone. Touchdown! Scotties! Brown does his best leapfrog impression. And Walters under pressure. He's going to be right out and sacked in the backfield. Brought down by Lauren Young.
You know what time it is. Scotty Nation, stand up and represent the Navy and Gold as it's time to let everyone know this is Highland Community College.
He's under pressure again, shakes it, goes over the middle, and it's intercepted. It's intercepted, picked off by Darius Johnson. Hand off here and swallowed up and at the line of scrimmage. Great play there, great penetration by Hill, and he was able to eat up the ball carrier.
From the players who work hard and never quit.
Turns, drops back, flings it down the middle, caught by Jameson. He breaks free. He's at the 40. He turns on the jet, down to the 20, 10, 5, touchdown! Ronnie Jameson.
The coaches who strategize and game plan when you take that field today. Gotta lay that hard on the line.
From the soles of your feet, with every ounce of blood you've got in your body, lay it on the line until the final whistle blows.
And the fans who cheer.
First points could be had. It's blocked there by the Scotties. It's going to be picked up and returned. Here comes Dominic Williams. He's at the 40-yard line, on the sideline, down to the 20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown! Scotties! Towards the end zone, Gray breaks it up at that time. Isaiah Gray with a great spectacular play. Down the middle, and it's caught! Touchdown! Scotties!
This is Highland Scotty football.
Time for Highland Community College football, but the national anthem happening now, so we'll pause for a 1-minute timeout. Be back and tell you about the matchup against Hutchinson coming up on 103.9 KNZA.
Highland's new precision agriculture program was designed for the farmer or related farm worker of the future. The future arrives quickly. Today's agricultural work goes beyond the field and barn to the computer, the satellite, the drone, the research lab. Aligning all these aspects precisely for the individual, field, and crop is provided by Highland's Precision Ag program. Centered in Baileyville at the College Western Center, this program can provide you with experience in understanding and applying modern farming methods. Check it out.
Attention farmers, poor drainage got your yields down? Precision Grading Design can help. With more than 8 years experience, Precision Grading Design has the experience you are looking for in site development, terrace design for drainage solutions, and any civil grading project. They also do private surveying and mapping and cater all design projects to be built using the latest GPS construction equipment, ensuring quality, accuracy, and efficiency. Contact Rocky Runke at 785-444-3702 or visit precision-grading-design.com for more information on Precision Grading Design of Highland, Kansas.
Kansaland Radio.
Well, time for some college football here on the radio dial, 103.9 KNZA and the Scotty Sports Network. Mike Smith alongside with you. Justin Fluke will join me later on here for the contest live from Hutchinson. It's game 4 of the season for the Highland Community College Scotties. And Highland, of course, well, sitting at 2-1 on the season after a 34-0 throttling of Iowa Central last week. A long road trip that paid dividends to the big-time victory, where it was a balanced offensive attack and ultimately a great defensive performance as well. I mean, they performed ultimately a great defensive showdown. 9 sacks in that game, held Iowa Central to under positive yardage, negative yardage in the first half, and just around 88 yards or so, I believe, or around 70 yards, I think it was actually, in total yardage in the contest. So Highland looking to feed off of that big victory and propel themselves to another Jayhawk Conference victory. They traveled to Hutch to take on the Blue Dragons of Hutchinson. Both teams enter this one just outside of the polls in the NJC and AA polls released earlier this week. Both teams are receiving votes, and rightfully so, after solid starts to the season. You flip it over to Hutchinson, they had an 8-point win and a shootout against Coffeyville. They lost by 6 to Iowa Western on the road. They rout Resolution Prep in a big game there as far as the scoring goes for the Blue Dragons. And then they beat Garden City last week by a slim 3-point margin and got that big victory on the road as well. So Highland's been on the road quite a bit. 3 of their first 4 games on the road, including this one here. In this matchup, they'll get some home cooking in their next 2 against Butler and Independence, but focused upon getting the W against Hutchinson and putting themselves right atop of the league standings in the Jayhawk Conference play. Some eye-popping numbers when you look at Hutchinson, the opponent today for the Scotties. We'll dive into that in a bit, but let's dive into this matchup between the 2 teams. You look at the last year's meeting, Highland won it a 26-21 victory. Scotties appeared to be in relatively, control of that ball game. They're up 20-0, and going into the fourth quarter had that lead, but 21 unanswered scored in the fourth quarter, led Hutchinson to a 1-point lead, 21-20. Scotties regained the lead with 2:30 left to go in the game, and a Kale Rinder 74-yard touchdown pass to Bailey Strunk, and Jacob Rominger, he had his second interception of the game to help preserve the win for HCC last year in that one. Highland's won 2 in a row against the Blue Dragons, as Hutch had won 6 in a row prior to the last 2 games. But Highland was able to do a lot of great things last year in this game against the Blue Dragons, and I'm sure Hutchinson remembers that. Probably a motivating factor for them in this game, but Highland's got plenty to be motivated about themselves headed into this showdown as well. Scotty's got the best scoring defense in the Jayhawk Conference, giving up just 16 points per game, and their defense has done exceptionally well in other capacities too. First in total yards per game as well, but you flip it over to Hutchinson, they are actually ranked just right behind, second in yards per game defensively. Offensively, they have the best scoring offense, 48.3 points per game, 193 points in 4 contests scored for Hutchinson this season. So needless to say, they can score some points and going to have to be wrangled in by Highland as far as what they like to do. They like to run the ball, and that's something that will be a key focus in this showdown. Is 230 yards on the ground basically is what Hutchinson runs for, with a multitude of characters in on the attack as far as that goes for the rushing attack. We'll be back here on 103.9 KNZA and the Scotty Sports Network. We'll hear from head coach Aaron Arnold in just a moment as you get ready for Highland and Hutchinson college football action on 103.9 KNZA and the Scotty Sports Network.
Hi, this is Diamond Dan for Diamonds by Design Jewelry Stores. Diamonds by Design is a full-service jewelry store with a variety of fine jewelry to fit every budget. Come in and let Marcia and her staff help to make your special occasion even more special. Diamonds by Design, locally owned and operated for over 15 years, and we specialize in custom design jewelry with a full-time designer in-house and computer software that lets you build your very own custom design jewelry. Come see Diamonds by Design at 21st and Wanamaker in Topeka.
Is your future secure? The Bank of Highland is your community-minded bank that accepts the responsibility of helping neighbors and friends live easier through insecure financial times, providing loans for home, auto, and agriculture, as well as standard checking and savings accounts. You can depend on your friends at the Bank of Highland to help secure your financial future. The Bank of Highland, branch of Bendina State Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender, making life better right here at home.
Back on 103.9 KNZA and streaming online to it at the Scotty Sports Network. Mike Smith alongside with Highland football head coach Aaron Arnold. Coach, you and the guys are now 2-1 off the bye week, getting that 34-0 victory at Iowa Central this past Saturday, and of course now take on Hutchinson in your next matchup. But a good throttling of Iowa Central with balanced offense in the showdown. Defense wreaked havoc all throughout the course of the contest. Several different guys made big plays in the matchup. But I wanted to ask you, with 3 games now in the books, do you feel that the team has made the progression that you've wanted to see and maybe is where you want them to be at this juncture of the season?
Oh, I don't know if you ever feel like you're where you want to be. I do think we've gotten better. I think if you go back and see, what we did in week 1 versus what we did last week, I think we're a better football team, which, that's really all that matters. You can't control how much better you get, but you just want to make sure every week as you go out and play, you're a little bit better than you were the week before, and I think we've done a good job with that.
When you look at the offensive side of the ball, one thing that stood out to me is the ball distribution. I mean, several different guys have made plays. I know there's been a few maybe that have stood at the forefront of the success that you've been able to find offensively, but it continues to progress as a team overall. But
good ball distribution, several different playmakers making plays offensively, and you got to like that so far to start the season, getting so many different guys involved.
Yeah, we're fortunate that we have a lot of good offensive skill players. I mean, we're too deep at all the wide receiver positions, and we've got 3 or 4 running backs that can play and a couple different tight ends that are effective. And it's nice to have multiple guys that are a threat to go do something with the football. And we don't necessarily game plan, let's get the ball to different guys, but it just sort of happens with some of our really good players that we have. You got to try to take away, like Ronnie. People want to take away Ronnie out of the game, and what ends up happening is that whoever's playing next to Ronnie gets really open. And fortunately, we have guys that can take advantage of that and have gone out and had some success so far.
You flip it over the defensive side of the ball, currently ranked atop the Jayhawk Conference in yards per game given up and points per game as well. But Hutchinson not too far behind in those rankings on top of things, especially on the yardage capacity. But a lot of guys have made plays defensively. You haven't even played really with all your starters in all of the games. Rico Hanna has missed a little bit of time. Trey Barrett missed a little bit of time. They're both now back in the fold. Trey, of course, coming back this week. But several guys have been hoisted into different spots, too, and made some depth for you. And a lot of guys have made plays defensively.
Yeah, we've had some guys that got thrust into position where they had to play earlier than maybe we would have liked to, which at the time is not, obviously what you want, but that is the benefit of it. They get some experience, and now we do have a little bit better depth than we would have. But more so than establishing depth, I'm just excited to get our starters back in. And, Trey and Rico are 2 of our best players on defense, and to have those guys back, and those are guys that play important positions for us and do a great job. And we're definitely better when those 2 guys are out there on the field, and it'll be nice to actually have our full starting defense out there rolling through a week.
You've been on the road quite a bit to open up the season. That trend continues when you take on Hutchinson for the weekend showdown, and ultimately, they've got some eye-popping numbers when you look at it on paper, and they've scored some points, been able to stop some teams as well. But when you look at this Blue Dragon team, what maybe stands out to you as key things that you're going to have to focus upon to be able to come out victorious?
Man, Hutch is a great football team. You go look at the Iowa Western film, and they could have, should have, maybe won that game. They're a really good team. They're a score away from being undefeated, and they look like it. They're big, strong, fast, physical team. They're well coached. It's kind of like, they're similar to what we do. It's kind of like looking in the mirror. They're big and physical, and they want to run the football. They're committed to stopping the run on defense. They play hard. They're definitely a handful. We've got to go into their place, and it's always tough to play at Hutch. It's a big, loud stadium, and their fans do a good job. We've got to be smart with the football, take care of it. We've got to make some plays on special teams. When we get opportunities to make big plays, we got to make them. And if we do that, we'll have a chance.
You mentioned the fact that they like to run the ball. I think they average nearly 230 yards so far through 4 games rushing, and obviously the line of scrimmage is going to play a big factor in this ball game, and defensive line has been stepping it up over the course of the 3 games for you this season. Several guys with some tackles for loss in that capacity, but line of scrimmage is probably going to play a big factor in this one against Hutch.
Well, they got a couple of running backs that are a handful. And they got a kid from Alabama that's transferred in, and then another kid that might be better than the Alabama kid. And they're big, fast, physical runners. And I think the key to the game for us on defense is we got to gang tackle and get multiple guys to the ball and get those guys on the ground. Because if you don't, they'll really hurt you. And they've shown it on film all year. They're a handful, and they do a great job running the football. They're tough to stop.
Of course, do a little bit of everything too. Can pass and have played defense pretty strong so far at the start of the season. How the Blue Dragons, but what's the big message going into this ball game, or anything particularly different going into the contest, or is it just kind of stay the course and grind it out for this one?
The message never changes. You got to play hard for 60 minutes. That's what it takes. You go play a Jayhawk Conference opponent on the road, and it takes 60 minutes to win these ball games. And we've learned that as we've had a letdown already this season, and we've also had to come from behind to win. And you got to play hard for 60 minutes. You got to go out there and do your job. You got to work hard. And I think the message is just to go. Don't try to do too much. The game plan doesn't change from week to week. It's just go do your job and go play hard. And I think if we can go do that, we'll be all right.
Coach, best of luck against Hutch on Saturday. I'll see you there, of course, the game, and safe travels as well. And we'll chat with you later.
Thanks a lot, Mike. Appreciate it.
That's Highland Community College football head coach Aaron Arnold here on your pregame here on 139 KNZA and the Scouting Sports Network. We'll continue with our pregame when we return in just a bit. Highland Community College Athletic Director Tyler Nordman is excited for the upcoming year. Based on the success of his first year as Highland AD, he's ready to see what the Scotties do this year. Last year, 8 of the 10 Highland Community College teams finished inside the top 20 of the NJCAA national rankings.
ranked and earned numerous team and individual honors. That can be viewed on the college's athletic website, ScottyAthletics.com. Nordman invites you to join him in what promises to be an exciting year as the Scotties compete with the best in the country in the Kansas Jayhawk Community College Conference. Highland Community College, check it out.
Kansaland Radio.
Ready to put this one in motion. The kickoff set here for the action in Hutchinson. Mike Smith with you here for the action on 103.9 KNZA and the Scotty Sports Network. Highland won the toss. They selected to defer. Scotties will be in the white pants, white jerseys with the navy blue numerals letters, navy blue on the shoulders of the jerseys as well, and the navy blue domes with the yellow stripe down the middle, and the, of course, yellow H down there, the gold H, that is, of course, on Highland's helmets for today. Hutchinson in the blue unis today, the blue tops with the white numerals and letters outlined in red. Got some red and white trim on the shoulder pads, and the gray pants with blue trim. Their helmets are white with the blue and red stripes down the middle, and the Dragon to Dawn on their jersey. William Solomon puts this one end over end, and it will be fielded right at around the 1 yard line by Hutchinson, bringing him up all the way to the 20, and a great play by the Scotties. Quick tackle that time, and a nice play by DeAndre Peterson to bring down the returner that time, as it was Deshaun Walder bringing that back. Hutchinson, of course, taking on Highland today, setting up for the Blue Dragons in their first offensive drive of the game, 24-yard line. 48.3 points per game, 193 total points, and they like to run the ball. They average nearly 400 yards per contest to the Blue Dragons, 230 of that on the ground, and have several guys out of the backfield that get things done for themselves in that capacity. And it's Cam Jones looking to pass, though, on the first offensive play. They'll go down the middle, and that's lobbed. Almost intercepted. Oh, Isaiah Gray comes swooping in like Batman there, and it was ultimately almost had an interception on the first play of the ball game. I thought the pass was overthrown for the intended target, but there was a guy farther down the field just over midfield, and the incomplete pass by Jones. It sets up a 2nd and 10 now for Hutchinson. Cam Jones, sophomore from Knoxville, Tennessee, is the quarterback. 580-plus yards on the year passing-wise. 4 touchdowns, but 3 interceptions as well. He goes in the shotgun with one lone back, 3 receivers at the far side, and it gets up to the second level. Nice spin move, but spun down. And nice job by B.J. Emmons on the carry. Scotties get on the tackle. Jakeem Green, actually one of the leaders in the Jayhawk Conference, tied for first with tackles for loss with his own teammate Rico Hanna. 7 tackles for loss for Green, and a tackle there, but it's for a positive gain for Hutchinson, and sets up 3rd and short, 3rd and 3 after the run by Emmons. Emmons is the leading runner for the guys on the Blue Dragons side. Nearly 260 yards rushing on 55 carries entering today. Jones goes under center, calls the fullback to go in motion, and quick stoppage of play and a timeout called by Highland quickly. Scotties want to converse about a early crucial 3rd down to try to force a 3 and out against Hutchinson. Maybe saw something they didn't want to wanted to go over a little bit more. Saw something they weren't familiar with, some of the game tape from Hutchinson. Not sure, of course, but Highland calling the timeout early on. 3rd and 3. Good coverage by Isaiah Gray on the very first play of the game. Nearly an interception. Bobbled around. He had it on his outstretched fingertips, but couldn't hold on to it. Gray, a solid player for the Scotties. One of the leaders that come back as a sophomore this year. 13 tackles on the season. Now 3 pass breakups. Like that one he had earlier in this contest. Dominic Williams on the other side of the cornerback is another leader for this team, for the Scotties. Again, the defense has played pretty well all year. 16 points given up per game. Definitely helps when you pitch a shutout last week. And Jones will go in the shotgun. Man in motion now. Comes back to the near side. That's Leroy Watson, a tight end. And there's a quick handoff on 3rd and 3. Lunging forward. He's not going to have the first down. And 4th down will be had for the Dragons, as it was Emmons yet again on the carry, but tripped up, and a nice play by the defensive line for the Scotties to get in on that play. And guys that got penetration include Fofana as well up there, and several other guys in on that one too. I think Kendrick Caddix, the linebacker, got in and was able to get his helmet down and get on Emmons as well. So early 3 and out for Hutch. That's exactly what the doctor ordered for Highland. Get the ball. It's a great defensive stop. You can have the ball to start out the second half, but now you come out with a good offensive drive here on the road. They bring the house and bring multiple guys to try to block that. The kick's off, and will take a Blue Dragon bounce inside the 30-yard line, be down at the 29. So no play by Isaiah Gray on the punt return. He hasn't returned many thus far this season. He did have a 44-yard return earlier this year for Isaiah, but he's only had 7 attempts that he's tried on the punt return capacity. Ball on the 29. Scotties go right to left across your radio dial and across your screen on the Scotty Sports Network. Mike Smith alongside with you. Justin Fluke will join me later on in the broadcast for today. Just Young into the contest. 13:22 left to play in the first. And Kyle Kearns lines up in the shotgun formation. Twin receivers to the near side. Call for the man in motion. It's Ronnie Jameson. Fake the handoff to him. Drops back to pass. Kearns takes a hit. Goes over the top of the head of the intended target. Double coverage down the middle. And Kearns maybe put a little bit too much air underneath that and could have been credited to the fact that he got hit as well in the backfield. Albert Howard, the intended target. Albert's got 4 catches for 38 yards this season, but that sails over his head that time as Kyle Kearns hit from behind. Coming in from the right side, Hutchinson had brought some pressure and were able to get around and get to the sophomore quarterback, Kyle Kearns. From California, the Wake Forest product transfer. Go for a man in motion again for the Scotties this time around is Stephen Delane, the fullback. Quick pass to the flat. Kevin Brown trying to shake his would-be tackler, and he does for a few more yards. Gets ahead of the 30-yard line and marked down at the 32. So a gain of 3 for Brown on the pass to the flat on the left side. And Kyle Kearns able to complete that pass for a little bit of yardage, but sets up 3rd and 7 here on the Scotty 32. Highland third down conversions, 48% on this season. You look on the defensive side for Hutchinson, they're holding their opponents to just 23% conversions on third down this year. Motion the fullback out of the backfield, goes tight to the formation on the right side. One lone back in the backfield as Kern hands this one off, and quickly gobbled up is Brown. Brown will be stood up after a gain of maybe 1 and thrown to the turf here in Hutchinson by a multitude of guys, which included Story Jackson. Jackson, the leading tackler at free safety for Hutchinson. 35 tackles, which actually ranks him 4th best in the Jayhawk Conference. So an early 3 and out for both offenses. This could be a defensive battle, and that might be expected if you look at the statistics based on what I mentioned in the pregame. You saw that both of these two teams have very good defenses. There's 1st and 2nd, respectively, in yards per game given up in the defensive capacity this season. Hutch's defense has actually scored 4 times too. Fair catch called for just ahead of the 25 at the 26. Good punt that time by Lane Spiker. Spiker's punted really solidly so far. Just missing pinning him from inside the 20 by 6 yards, but solid punt by Lane Spiker that time around. 11:42 to go here in the first quarter. Scoreless after an offensive drive apiece for Highland Community College and Hutchinson. And Hutch left to right across your radio dial on the Scotty Sports Network screen has Jones going in the shotgun formation. One lone back in the backfield. They enter this ball game with actually 4 running backs with over 100 yards rushing on the season. 2 guys just off the line on each side as well. Here's a quick handoff, cut back to the near side, and great rally to the ball and a good tackle that time. There's a multitude of guys in on that, led by Lauren Young. Kendrick Caddis helping finish off the play, along with a couple of other guys in with him too. But great play by Lauren Young, a guy from Atlanta, Georgia, that has played well with 12 tackles this season. Tied for 3rd in the Jayhawk Conference in sacks with 3, and also tied for 10th in tackles for loss this season. Tackle for loss right there for Young and company. 2-yard loss. That's a 2nd and long. 12 yards to gain for the chain mover. Jones in the shotgun, drops back to pass. He's got a man in the flat, but he goes across there, and it's going to be broken up and tipped up and intercepted. And Highland intercepts that, and they try to return it. Nice job there. The Scotties pick that off. Darius Johnson, his third pick of the season. Johnson's already tied for the league lead in picks with 2, but, well, he now owns it himself, unless somebody else gets one today from the other guys that are in the Jayhawk Conference. But great play, ultimately. I think that was Dom Williams that actually hit the pass and tipped it, and Johnson then played steady Eddie right there and tipped it to himself down. And we've got the early turnover in this matchup going Highland's way, and the Scotties now in business in Blue Dragon territory off the turnover. Can they turn the turnover into points? That's the question. +3 turnover margin for, oh wow, fumbled that time. Kearns can't hold on to the snap. He's frustrated. Scotties bounce back on it, but they're going to lose significant yardage. Kevin Brown was able to get a hold of the ball. The snap squirted through Kyle's hands, and Brown was there too in the vicinity because it looked like he was going to get the handoff, and the ball all the way marked back to the 45-yard line. So a significant loss. Didn't lose the ball, which would have been the far more significant portion of a loss there. But, well, Scotties moved themselves backwards 8 yards and set themselves up now with a 2nd and 18. Here's a handoff, trying to bounce it to the near side. Brown's got a little space, tries to shake it, and almost got away from the would-be tackler that time. And indeed, he did bring him down. Jeff Mario Brown, tied for 3rd of the Jayhawk Conference in tackles for loss, gets Kevin Brown for a minimal gain of about 3 or so. Sets up 3rd and long as we've gone under 10 minutes to play in the first quarter. Good defensive plays by both teams, but the interception leading to this opportunity for Highland. Kearns got a nice pass there. Good pick is illegal, but that's a good way to put it as far as the pass. And got a little bit of an opening lane for Albert Howard to haul that in. He's going to be about 2-3 yards shy of the first down, but good play there that time. And, well, we're going to see maybe the first points of the contest. William Solomon, he kicked a Highland best field goal ever in Scotty history. 46 yards last week against Iowa Central. He's 5 for 5 on the field goal capacity thus far this season. Ball will be set down on the 37, so this is a 47-yard field goal. If he nets this, it'd be a new career high for him here in college, and he puts it end over end, close, and off the crossbar. Oh, man, William Solomon had the distance, just not by a few inches, as the field goal unsuccessful from 47 yards out. He hit a 50-yarder in practice when I was watching earlier here today in preparation for the game, but Solomon and the Scotties unable to capitalize on the turnover. And Highland will turn it over on downs because of it. Ball's at the 30-yard line for Hutchinson to take over. As the Scotties were looking to get the first points of the ball game on the road and start with the lead, but I'll have to buckle down defensively yet again. Missed field goal that goes right off the middle of the uprights by William Solomon. Needed a little bit more air underneath it, but unsuccessful that opportunity. Twin receivers to the near side. Jones puts this one into the breadbasket of the ball carrier, Otis Williams. Williams takes it off to the left-hand side, off to the flat, and he's stretched out for maybe getting back to the line of scrimmage, but quickly stopped. Good rallying to the ball by Highland yet again. Several different guys once more in on the tackle, but the defensive line is going to be crucial today for the Scotties. I mean, they've got to get good penetration and got to be able to protect the edges too. Good speed is on this roster for Hutchinson. You look at that running back core, like I said, 4 different guys with over 100 yards rushing this season. They've had opportunities to put more guys in there, but that only makes them far more dangerous. B.J. Emmons, Otis Williams expect to get a lot of carries. Deshaun Waller, though, will probably see some time too. Jones goes under center, going to roll off to the far side. Looks like Emmons gets that as somebody lost their dome for Highland. Helmet rolls off the helmets of Trey Barrett, who's good to see back this week. Jakeem Green and crew in on the tackle. Lord Young, also Kendrick Caddis as well. But like I said, Trey Barrett lost his helmet, so he has to leave the field, so he will not be on the field for this play. But good to see Trey back, suspended last week because of the targeting call back against Garden City. This is actually the first time the Scotties have their full entire starting defense, and hopefully for the entire game. They had, of course, everybody at the start against Dodge City to open up the year, but Rico Hanna was taken out of that ball game relatively early because of a targeting call. 3rd and 6. Jones in the shotgun. Twin receivers to the near side on each and far side as well. Down the middle, pass is caught. Big hit, but across midfield it goes. And that one hauled in. A great catch for Hutchinson. Nice play by Jaquil Jagui. As Jagui's actually first catch of the season. Hutchinson's playing without their best wide receiver, Juwan Johnson. 7 catches for 230 and a touchdown. A couple of actually another wide receiver I think's out today as well, or was anticipated to be that way. Jones goes in the shotgun, calls for the tight end to go in motion, who lines up on the near side now. One lone back in the backfield, and he'll put it in his breadbasket. Waller shakes an ankle tackle, but then gets gobbled up and sandwiched to the ground. Great play by Highland. They stayed with it and ultimately bring him down. Jamal Winter looking to bear down on the ball carrier. Loss of 1. Winter coming in up front. 2nd and 11. But in Scotty territory is Hutchinson. Blue Dragons just over the 50-yard line at the 48. Jones in the shotgun, one back in his hip pocket to the left. Twin receivers stacked on the far side. And under pressure, Jones takes a hit, but he completes the pass. It's going to be caught and going to be close to the first down. Marquise Whitmire, I believe, was the guy to haul that in. And Whitmire hauls it in and gets the first down for a 12-yard completion. And Hutchinson moves the chains and moves further closer to the first opportunity in the red zone for either of these two teams. Highland's been pretty efficient red zone capacity on offense for themselves. Hutch has been pretty efficient on scoring the ball. They scored nearly 200 points in 4 games. And great wrap-up tackle there. Good ankle tackle by the Scotties. As in the backfield again is Lauren Young. Lauren gets a minimal gain for the carrier there that time. I think that was Waller again. Gain of 2 sets up 2nd and 8. Ball just across the 35 to the 34. 6 minutes and counting here in the first quarter. Mike Smith alongside with you here on the Scotty Sports Network and on 103.9 KNZA, also streaming worldwide at mscsports.net for the audio. One lone receiver to the near side. They'll have 2 guys just offset off the line. Now one goes in motion and lines up over to the far side as well. Extra blocking, but they play action pass now. Dump pass this time. Oh, and a great wrap-up tackle. Nice job by Kendrick Caddis, the Arizona State commit. He just committed a couple weeks ago to the Sun Devils. And Caddis rallies to the ball and makes an exceptional open field tackle for the loss. 18 tackles entering today. Caddis, one of the 5 team captains, has a half sack on the season too, but big play there for the loss of 4 on the completion. Sets up 3rd and 12 with approaching 5 minutes to go in the first. Jones in the shotgun, go trips to the far side. One lone receiver to the near side for Jones and company. Down the middle, pass is complete. First down, big hit by Barrett, but pass is hauled in by Jagui, and that's going to be a first down at the 24-yard line. So big 3rd down conversion for Hutchinson, who's converting on just 30% of their 3rd downs so far this season, entering today. But a big 3rd down for themselves early on. Quick whistle, lining up on a first down play. Highland's going to need another timeout. They've utilized 2 timeouts already, have the Scotties. So only 1 remain, and it's 4:40 to go in the first quarter. This is a crucial point here. They don't want to fall behind early on. Had an opportunity to take the early lead. Unfortunately, unsuccessful on the 47-yard field goal attempt by William Solomon. That went off the middle of the crossbar and keeps it scoreless at this point. 4:40 left to go in the first quarter of action as Hutchinson hosting Highland Community College on 103.9 KNZA, MSCSports.net, and the Scotty Sports Network. Mike Smith alongside you for this showdown. Hutch riding a wave of momentum after the win against Garden City last week. Highland, of course, off the bye week, down to Iowa Central 34-0. Had their most offensive yardage since September the 26th of 2015, Highland did. They amassed nearly 500 yards, 409 193 yards of offense and gave up just 70 total yards. I mentioned about 80, but it's actually about 70 total yards of offense in that game officially. Jones will go under center. He's going to have a couple of tight ends tight to the far side and two guys offset of the line as well. Here's the handoff and nice open field ankle tackle again. Wow, great play. And coming up from his safety spot, Trey Barrett. Man, as he made an impact already in his return back to the defense for Highland. Trey Barrett comes in, gets good penetration, brings down the ball carrier in the backfield for a 1-yard loss. And Barrett's first tackle for loss this season. Like I said, he's made impactful already on the defensive side of the ball for Trey. Sets up 2nd and 11. 4 minutes to go in the first quarter. Jones in the shotgun, one lone back right directly behind him. And Jones going to be gobbled up for a second, but bounced around, and he may get back to the original line of scrimmage. Not sure it's going to be a sack. Lauren Young will bring him down ultimately, along with one of his teammates as well. Joining him is Jamal Winter. Good pressure up front, as it was Jakeem Green bearing down on Jones initially. Couldn't hold on for the sack, and Mose Hall, who was nicked up a little bit, but he's playing today. He was up on the line as well, getting the Scotties to that great play. They actually do lose a yard, so it will go down as a sack, so not sure who it would be accredited to. We'll have to wait and see officially. Lauren Young and Jamal Winter get in on that, so a half sack for each of those guys. Jones in the third down situation goes over to the flat, throws that short of the would-be target. Jagui coming up is the guy to take that towards himself. See if they want to go. It's 4th down, 4th and 12. Ball marked on just ahead of the 27-yard line, but they don't look like they're going to trot out any field goal unit on the field right now. They're 2 for 2 kicking wise. Luke Niemeyer, a guy back as a sophomore in the kicking capacity, is perfect PATs, but they're not going for any kicks right now. 4th and 12, big 4th down here for Highland's defense. Jones in the shotgun, dropping back to pass, and he's going to go across the middle, almost picked off again. It goes through the hands, and a couple of defenders for the Scotties, and the pass breakup leads to the turnover on downs. Big stand by the Highland Community College Scotties right there, and just outside the red zone. They hold Hutchinson off the scoreboard and out of the red zone too. Highland with that big stand. They needed that, and Hutch, well, they wanted to roll the dice early, and, well, it came up empty as far as that goes in their situation. Both teams have had a good drive after their 3-and-out to open up the game, but spoiled opportunities had for each squad so far. Good defense buckling down for the two teams in this contest. 3:15 left to play in the first. Highland shifts, and Kern's going to hand this one off to Willie Jordan. Gets away from the ankle tackle and gets close to the second level, but only going to gain about 2 yards for Jordan. Willie's carried the ball quite a bit, 54 carries this season, but only 162 yards. But he does average 54 yards per game rushing, which is 7th best in the Jayhawk Conference. And that 1-2 tandem of Willie Jordan and Kevin Brown has been pretty dynamic. Brown has hit more of the big plays, but Jordan has carried the workload out of the backfield so far for Highland this season. Shift 2 guys to the near side and go heavy on the line. Kern's going to drop back to pass. 3-step drop, fires behind his target, Ronnie Jamison. And Jamison doesn't see the pass in and ultimately broken up. Good coverage. Jerry Jacobs in on the coverage. Jacobs has 4 pass breakups coming into this ball game and an interception, and he drew the assignment of Ronnie Jamison, one of the best wide receivers in the Jayhawk Conference. The gentleman headed to South Carolina next year. Jamison will split out to the near side in the slot. Trey Willis also to the near side as well. One lone receiver over to the far. Jamison now in motion, and Kearns with the play action to him. Quick dump pass, and it's going to be out into the flat. Jordan trying to get away and won't do so. Wrapped up with an ankle tackle short of the first down by about a yard or 2. Great open field tackle by Colby Turner, middle linebacker for Hutchinson. 20-plus tackles. You look at their linebacking core for Hutch. They got a pretty good one. Guy, Victoria, Colby Turner, and Quinn Head, the starters, but the guys after that, pretty darn good as well. But they all have 20-plus tackles entering today, those 3 that I mentioned. And a big tackle for Hutch's Turner that time on Willie Jordan. Brings him 2 yards shy of the first down, so 4th and 2. Leads the punting unit on. Lane Spiker, the Highland native, is set to punt this one away. Good spiral that time, and a high punt for Spiker going all the way back to around the 13-yard line. But it had some open space over to the far sideline. Will be returned and marked out just shy of the 30. They may give him the 30. Actually, they're going to go ahead of the 30 to the 32. I thought he went out about the 30-yard line, so line judge on the far side actually going to mark him ahead of that to the 32-yard line on the return. Nice return at that by Deshaun Whaler. Minute 41 to go in the first quarter. Scoreless contest. So the Scotties definitely wanted to get things, to go their way. They probably want this one to be a little bit more of a low-scoring affair. Minute 41 left to play in the first. Hutch left to right across your screen and on 103.9 KNZA across your radio dial. Jones puts it right in the breadbasket of his ball carrier this time and trying to spin around. He'll get about 3-4 yards. It's going to be Otis Williams again on the carry. Jeremiah Hill in on that tackle along with Lauren Young. Couple of others in on that tackle too, but sizable gain on first down of about 4 yards. Sets up 2nd and 6. Minute 15 left to play in this first quarter. Both teams had scoring opportunities. Highland missed a field goal off the uprights, actually right off the crossbar, 47-yarder that missed. And Hutch stalled out right ahead of the red zone. Went for it on 4th and 12 and couldn't get it. And gets away from an ankle tackle. Now busts it free for the first down. And all the way up past the 45. They're going to mark him down at the 45. Good run by Desmond Jackson. Just another guy that's going to carry the ball for Hutchinson. Now joined by my man Justin Fluke. Made the trip down as well. Justin, of course, we're almost done with the first quarter here, but Hutchinson, a versed team in the run. They've been trying to establish that with a multitude of different guys, and now they had a drive that stalled out just shy of the red zone a bit ago. As Jones goes under center right now, another back in the backfield. Looks like Jackson again goes off tackle to the right side, and Kendrick Caddis goes right straight up with them. A little feistiness after the play between a couple of players, but quickly broken up. And Caddis brings down the ball carrier after a 1-yard gain.
Well, quite a defensive battle, Mike, obviously, not just because the score's 0-0, but Highland had a takeaway, had an opportunity set up by their defense, couldn't quite get the field goal, needed a few more inches, and as you mentioned, Highland's defense standing in their own ground, turning away Hutch when they had drove inside the 30-yard line, so it is 0-0, but the defense has made just as many, if not more, plays than the offense so far in this game, and it's been a good one so far through the first quarter.
Defensive struggle between these two teams receiving votes in the NJCAA national poll. We'll be back for the second quarter. You're listening to the action on 103.9 KNZA and watching the action on the Scotty Sports Network.
Attention farmers, poor drainage got your yields down? Precision Grading Design can help. With more than 8 years experience, Precision Grading Design has the experience you are looking for in site development, terrace design for drainage solutions, and any civil grading project. They also do private surveying and mapping and cater all design projects to be built using the latest GPS construction equipment, ensuring quality, accuracy, and efficiency. Contact Rocky Runke at 785-444-3702 or visit precision-grading-design.com for more information on Precision Grading Design of Highland, Kansas.
Hi, this is Diamond Dan for Diamonds by Design Jewelry Stores. Diamonds by Design is a full-service jewelry store with a variety of fine jewelry to fit every budget. Come in and let Marcia and her staff help to make your special occasion even more special. Diamonds by Design, locally owned and operated for over 15 years, and we specialize in custom design jewelry with a full-time designer in-house and computer software that lets you build your very own custom design jewelry. Come see Diamonds by Design at 21st and Wanamaker in Topeka. 103.9 FM, KNZA.
Good run by Deshaun Waller to start the second quarter as we switch sides of the field. So Hutchinson now operating right to left across your radio dial and across the screen on the Scotty Sports Network. Mike Smith alongside Justin Fluke for the broadcast today in Hutchinson. Battle of teams that are just on the precipice of getting in the top 20 in the junior college level. Highland was ranked 20th earlier this season. Hutchinson trying to break into the polls as well. Jones going the shotgun, one lone back in the backfield. Call for a man in motion to the tight end. Motions out to the near side. Jones looking to pass this. He's under duress. He gets hit, but he completes the pass across the middle. Great open field tackle by Rico Hanna, but a great pass caught as well. That time by Leroy Watson. Watson hauling in the pass, I believe it was. Actually, I think it was Johnny Lumpkin, excuse me.
Good job by Jones under pressure, too, because Mario Dungy came right up the middle and was there just a second too late, but he forced that throw a little earlier than Cam Jones wanted to. Good job by Jones to be able to find his target and complete the pass before taking a big shot.
Yardage has been limited for both teams, but Hutch has been able to move the ball a little bit more frequently, go running up the middle. I think that was Jackson on the ball carry and able to be wrangled up pretty quickly. Ed Rowe and crew on that defensive line. Jeremiah Hill from his linebacker spot helping finish off the play. Gain of 3 sets up 2nd and 7.
They talk about all the versatility that Hutch has and all their different weapons on this particular play. They bring 4 new players onto the field, so they go with a different personnel and lineup here on 2nd down and 7.
Jackson in the backfield behind the quarterback Jones. The receiver split out to each side, and then a guy off the line on the right side. High snap to Jones, and now going to give it into Jackson's hand. Looks like it was going to be maybe a little bit of a play action, but hands it off to Jackson and quickly brought down. Maybe a loss on the play.
Great job by Ed Rowe. He kind of turned that back in the middle. He beat his man and turned it inside, and that's where Mario Dungy was waiting and made the tackle for Highland with an assist on that by Mose Hall.
Mose Hall picking up an offer from Buffalo recently, as was Omadou Fofana. They both get some offers from Buffalo here as of late for Highland's defense.
Jakeem Green just checked back in, so they get a couple fresh bodies there on the defensive line. See if Highland can bring pressure here on 3rd down and 8.
Yeah, 3rd and 8 with Jones in the shotgun. One lone back. Jones stepping back to try to find this one, and he's got his man. It's going to be caught. Hauled in there that time. Great catch as it was picked up by Aaron Shannon. Shannon hauls it in. Now the guy that was listed as one of the key wide receivers coming into this matchup, but comes up with a key catch to get the Blue Dragons into the red zone. First red zone trip of the game as a Scotty defender now down on the turf. That looks like Kendrick Caddis sitting down around the 10-yard line.
Great protection on that previous play. Dom Williams was just a split second behind the throw, and the safety is the post route went towards the middle. A second late getting there as well, but a couple really nice throws by Cam Jones on this drive to get Hutchinson in a scoring opportunity.
Caddis looking like he's having a cramp worked out in this situation, but 12:37 left to go here in this first half. Nothing on the scoreboard, but Hutchinson threatening yet again. They were on the precipice of getting into the red zone a little while ago. Had a 4th and 12 represented from the 27-yard line. They went for it, Justin, and I thought that was kind of a tall telling sign of what maybe their special teams is. They've only kicked 2 field goals, but made both, and they're perfect on their extra points. But they decided to try to go for it to get that first down or the score, and unsuccessfully accomplish that feat. And now they're back here, though, this time in the red zone for them. Highland looking to be stout again on the defensive end.
Yeah, I think Will Solomon's a huge advantage for Highland. Almost had that 47-yard field goal to break his previous record set a week ago.
And Jones fakes the handoff. Nobody was there, and he's going to have to fall on it, basically. He just ate it that time around. Great play. Trey Barrett bringing him down ultimately in the backfield. Also getting in there was Jamal Winter, who's played extremely well here to start today and last week, too. Winter's earned himself a lot more playing time along that defensive line. Approaching 12 minutes to go here in the first half.
Huge break for Highland as that play, somebody messed up. It was a miscommunication. You doubt it was the quarterback Jones as he faked one way, went to look like handed off the other, but nobody was there. All he could do was scurry backwards for another yard or two to try to get away. Now these costly mistakes in the red zone give Highland an opportunity defensively.
Sets up 2nd and 16. Ball at the 18-yard line for Hutchinson, and Jones takes the snap, and he's got some space. Now he's going to run it himself. Here comes a penalty flag. And he's at the 10, down to the 5, lunges forward, and he'll be marked down around the 2, but that could be coming back because the yellow laundry is on the field back around the original line of scrimmage.
We're starting to see a few more pass plays called. It's no coincidence here in the second quarter with Hutchinson now having the wind at their back. And, we saw some leg cramps earlier, so it's obviously warmer than we would expect for this time in September, so that could be an issue, the leg cramps. But the wind could be a little bit of a factor as well. Maybe played into the field goal attempt for Highland earlier in this game. But the wind blowing a good steady 15, probably gust towards 20 miles an hour. And right now, Hutch has that wind at their back.
Yeah, no doubt about it. It is a warm day. It might be fall, but it doesn't feel like that. 88 degrees right now, but only going to be warmer. It feels like 91, and as you mentioned, the wind 18 mile an hour out of the south. 2nd and 26 after the holding penalty. Jones takes the snap, and with a little delay there, he looked like he didn't know what he wanted to do.
I think it was a premature snap because a couple of other linemen didn't even move once the ball was hiked. I don't think Jones expected it, so maybe the center snapped that one a little bit early. But again, a little mistake like that, you're not able to gain yards. And after they were down to the 12-yard line, all of a sudden Hutchinson backed up 3rd and long here at the Highland 26.
Yeah, Jones did manage 2 yards, but it's now 3rd and 24. You can get the first down before, of course, getting into the end zone. The ball's on the 26-yard line, so first down would be at the 2 for Hutchinson. Jones will go in the shotgun, and one lone back in the backfield is Waller. They have stacked receivers with 2 on the near side and then twin receivers over to the far side as well, trying to open this up on a 3rd and long. Jones got some time. Now he's going to be pressured a bit, lobs it up, and nobody home. No one in the vicinity of that pass. The closest guy was Tavion Allen, I think. Yeah, Allen was doubtful or had a potential not to be able to play today, but looks like he's ready to go, and that's a good guy to have. He caught a touchdown this season, but especially with the fact that they're without their top wide receiver in Johnson. But 4th down.
43-yard field goal try.
Yeah, field goal unit coming on. Set to kick this one, Luke Niemeyer. Niemeyer 2 for 2, but his longest this season is 27 yards. He kicked last year, and this kick is up and no good. Far left, as that one shanks to the left side, and both teams with a field goal opportunity, and both teams with a goose egg still on the board. 10:26 left to play here in the first half.
Well, Hutchinson did their fair share of shooting themselves in the foot. Once getting into the red zone, they had the costly 10-yard holding penalty. They had a bobbled snap, and also had the play to where there was nobody there to take the handoff, so they went backwards. Good job by the Scotty secondary, though, on the 3rd and long as nobody was open. Great stand by the Scotty D.
Highland's defense now only 5 times out of the 11 times that opponents have been in the red zone have they scored. Kearns will go in the shotgun. Low snap. He's able to get that off to Brown, but Brown is just swallowed and engulfed by a sea of blue in the backfield. He's going to lose yardage on the carry.
Seemed like that play took a little longer to develop before the handoff was actually made from Carnes to Brown, and the offensive line's got to do a little better job for Highland right now. They're not winning the battle in the trenches. If we're going to get the run game established and going, there's got to be a little more resistance and push up front from the big guys.
Loss of 4 on the play, and that actually means Highland has only gained 14 positive yards in the first half. Kearns in the shotgun. A receiver split out to each side. They motion 2 tight ends to the far side now. And one lone back in the backfield here on 2nd and long. Brown tries to go over to the far side off the tackle and kind of slips, but tried to cut back and, cut back to maybe a 1 to 2 yard gain. Story Jackson looked like he was in on the tackle, and I think Guy Victoria too, as he's one of the key linebackers as well.
Yeah, 10th in the Jayhawk Conference in tackles coming in, and give him some credit because Highland overloaded that side of the field. They tried to get extra blockers, shifted both tight ends to the left. They ran to the left, but still couldn't get much of a hole or any positive yards.
3rd and long, 13 yards needed to gain for the first down for the Scotties. Haven't had a first down all ball game. Pass across the middle, caught by Jamison, but he's wrapped up on an ankle tackle. Nice play by Jerry Jacobs as he was able to bring him down after just what he could gain on the catch and reception. It's going to be 4th down and about 7 to go, and the punting unit coming on. Highland has not garnered a first down here, Justin, so far. Offensively, not much to have for the liking in the first half for the Scotties.
Well, you like the completed pass there by Kyle Carnes, but on such a long yardage situation, he was needing his wide receiver to break a tackle. Receiver couldn't on the simple little crossing route, and Highland forced another 3-and-out punting situation.
Lane Spiker has done well today in his punts, and he's going to send another one end over end. This one will fall a little bit short, but take a Scotty bounce, and nice bounce at that. It was actually around the 45, bounced all the way inside the 30, down to the 29.
41-yard punt with no return, and the Scotties will take that, especially having to kick it into the wind. Spiker's job gets more challenging here in the second quarter, but the game remains scoreless as the defenses continue to dominate.
Yeah, now that was his fourth punt, I believe, of the ball game for Lane Spiker, and done pretty well, averaging around 46 yards per punt here so far in the contest. But the offense has to find some semblance of life before halftime, you would think, Justin. 8-12 left to play here in the first half. Scotty's about to try to get the ball back first and foremost. The defense trying to buckle down again. They've been able to keep Hutchinson off the scoreboard, and still a scoreless contest. Jones in the shotgun, going to hand this one off. Great tackle there. There's multiple guys in on that one and thrown down to the ground. It's Jamal Winter again.
Yeah, Winter first man there. Pretty sure sound tackle. Good low wrap up on the play for a minimal gain of just one. Defense is doing their job. You get the feeling that both offenses kind of looking for some kind of big play, or able to find a way to break a tackle or two and get into the open here.
Hutchinson's been able to move the ball a little bit. They have 103 yards total offense, passing yards of 76 through the contest. Jones looking to pass again. He's under duress by a couple different guys. He just throws it away, and the incomplete pass thrown away into the Highland bench on the far side will result in a now third down situation.
That was Jamal Winter once again and Mario Tunji that were bringing pressure as both guys came free right up the middle, and all Cam Jones could do was throw it away. Another incompletion, stopping the clock at 7:32, and another third and long. Chance for the Scotties to get off the field.
Winter bringing the hot pressure on top of the quarterback in Jones in the backfield. 3rd and 9, 7:32 to go in the first half. Some movement on and positioning up on the front lines for Highland. Jones going to step forward. He's got some open space, then slings this one there close to, maybe over the line of the scrimmage, but he's got his man and down the middle, and that's caught. Nice play by Jaquil Jagwe. He had not caught a pass all season, but he's caught like about 3 of them so far here in this contest, and that one's a big one.
Yeah, good catch, but even better job of holding on to the football, because Tom Williams had the hit time perfectly, and he put a shot right as the ball was being caught, and the receiver able to hang on to convert on 3rd down, and a huge play on offense.
27-yard completion moves the Hutchinson Blue Dragons into Scotty territory with just over 7 minutes to go in the first half. Jones went under center, now hands this one off to Waller, and Waller tries to stretch it out on the far side. Will get a gain of maybe 3, but brought down after that. Not much doing with the rushing attack here tonight. Several different guys in on the tackle for Highland, including Trayvon Hinton in on that one. Jeremiah Hill as well. Hill is one of the leading guys in the Jayhawk Conference in tackles. 8th in tackles and 5th in tackles per game.
Yeah, and Hill chased him down from behind that time, so showing the speed as the running back was waiting for the play to develop. Hill able to chase him down for a short gain.
Jones once more goes under center. 2 guys just off the line of the near side here. Great block by the running back to pick up the blitzer, and the pass is complete down the middle. That hauled in again by Johnny Lumpkin, one of the tight ends.
He's a big guy, 6'6", yeah. 260 pounds, and he's just kind of found the seam in the middle of the Scotty defense. A nice big target there, and again, Jones is having protection for the most part. He's not having to rush any of these throws and starting to get pretty comfortable on offense.
Only 1 sack for Highland so far today, and they got 3 tight ends, Justin, 6'6", 6'6", and 6'5", that they can utilize so far. They've been able to utilize Lumpkin for a couple of nice pass receptions. Rico Hanna in on the tackle on Jackson, who was the ball carrier. Minimal gain. It looks like about 3, so 2nd and 7 as we go under 6, 5:45 to play in the first half, and Hutchinson again knocking on the door of the red zone. They were there just a little while ago, but missed a field goal from 43 yards, I believe it was. Opportunity for themselves. Highlands missed a 47-yard field goal attempt in this ball game. Jackson with a handoff. He gets hit that time on an open field opportunity by Trayvon Hinton, but pushed out of bounds, towards out of bounds that time by Lauren Young. Also Dom Williams in the vicinity. kind of stretch that play out.
Yeah, the run defense has been great for Highland. They're flowing to the football. Just got to find a way to either get some pressure on the quarterback or tighten things up just one little notch tighter in the secondary.
They made some good plays in the secondary early on, nearly an interception on the very first play of the game. They had an interception already in this contest, but Hutchinson has settled down and made some good pass plays for themselves in this contest. Twin receivers to each side. One lone back in the backfield is Waller with Jones. And Jones now up and hit around, and great wrap-up tackle, and that one nice play by Mario Dungy. And Jones did get the pass away, so Dungy won't get the sack, but we'll bring up 4th down, and here comes the field goal unit again.
Ashton Hayes also got a little pressure on the quarterback that time, so a much better job by the Scotties to get a pass rush. An earlier miss from 43. This one's going to be from about 38 yards.
Yeah, 38-yard field goal attempt for the sophomore Luke Niemeyer, so a bit closer this time around. To try to go for the block, and that one's wide left again. Wow. 3 field goal opportunities in this ball game, and all misfire. And for Hutchinson, they missed wide left twice. This one a bit closer this time around, and well, the Scotties stand again.
I don't know how much difference it made, but both those field goal attempts for Hutchinson, the ball was on the left hash, and the field goal attempt went wide left, so unable to shoot it across the field and back towards the middle, even with the wind at their back. So not only 3 missed field goals, Mike, but 3 missed field goals all with the wind at their back.
True.
At least Highlands was straight. It just wasn't quite long enough.
Yeah, they were all at the same end of the field in that capacity. Handoff going up the middle.
Positive gain on 1st down. You take a gain of 4 up the middle.
Exactly. Solid gain on 1st down for the Scotties. They were able to churn that out for themselves. So Highland trying to utilize something on offense, because that hasn't happened much. Offensive carries for themselves to churn out positive yards. It was Kevin Brown, by the way, on the 5-yard run, setting up 2nd and 5. Brown in the backfield with Kyle Kearns at the quarterback. Receivers split out with 2 tight ends tied to the far side. Brown gets up into the 2nd level again. Another solid run. He'll be stopped short. Actually, the pile's pushing him ahead. He's going to get the 1st down. He was stopped short of the 1st down until the cast of characters up front, the big fellas, of course, leading the way. Casey Fye and the center Tariq Parkings helping out too to lead that one. And don't want to leave out the rest of the guys. Trey Boone, Mike Davis, and Tremontez Raybon. They have all played pretty well thus far this season, all making again their 4th consecutive start.
Finally got a push, not just with the snap, but the push at the end of the play that gives the Scotties a 1st down, giving their defense a much-needed breather right now.
Yeah, first down of the ball game too. A 7-yard run by Brown. Ultimately, he gets the carry once more, goes in between the tackle and the guard on the left side of the offense, but may lunge forward for a yard. And that's being generous in that situation. Pretty stout on the defensive line there, and a great play by Talon Humphrey, it looked like, the Houston, Texas product for Hutch up front in the middle. He was a pretty stout fella. Devontae Jest also in the vicinity. Kearns going to hand this off to Brown again, and Brown hit in the backfield, going nowhere.
Highland continuing to try to run the footballs. The clock runs under 2:50 to go here until halftime. You don't want to give it back to Hutch with much time, and certainly not good field position. So this is a big 3rd down play coming up. It seemed like they got a little momentum, picked up a 1st down, but now back-to-back plays that have been stuffed at or just behind the line of scrimmage.
Backup linebacker Drew Harvey, who actually has 16 tackles and 2 sacks entering this ballgame, and an interception, made that play for a loss on the play of 1. So 3rd and 11, 2:24 left to play in the 1st half. Kearns drops back to pass. He's going to air it out. He's got Howard, and Howard can't hold on. It was in and out of his hands. Good pass coverage by the safety, Story Jackson, and Devon Henderson as well at the cornerback spot. They were both in on that coverage, and were able to break up the would-be catch by Albert Howard. And the punting unit will come on, and Hutch now has the ball coming back their way, Justin, with still ample time before halftime.
Well, Howard got his hand on it. Maybe a ball that he'd like to have another opportunity at. And in a game like this, you need those opportunities to cash in on offensively. And Hutch going to get it back here still with plenty of time. Over 2 minutes to go till halftime.
Lane Spiker in. He's been busy today punting for Highland, and pretty solidly punting as well. This one almost went off Hutchinson, and then they fielded it because I think the Blue Dragons felt that it may have actually hit a player for themselves, and a wise decision by Hutchinson. Give them credit for, pouncing on top of it. I didn't see who that party was to be able to get it.
40.
Antoine Benjamin, a linebacker, backup guy that plays on special teams for the Blue Dragons. Heads up play by them because you don't want to have a costly turnover if you're Hutchinson in there. Highland would have been in great position if that happened, but to get the ball back like that. But 2 minutes to go, a little ahead of that on the clock, but Highland looking to stay steadfast on defense again. They've bended a little, but they haven't broke.
Seems like their defense has been on the field, though, most of the second quarter and much of the first half as well. So you kind of hope they got enough gas in the tank to finish this drive here and get to the locker room, keeping this game scoreless.
Last year was a battle that was finished with the 26-21 Highland win. Highland led 20-0, though, in that one. Jones bobbles the snap. He's just going to eat it as he's gobbled up and brought down for the quarterback sack. Lauren Young, Trey Barrett in on the tackle. Also, Jones's helmet comes off, so he's going to have to come off the field. And new guy will have to come in at quarterback. Jamal Winter over there, too. Winter has been wreaking havoc right now, been on a lot of plays for Highland on the defensive side of the ball. Eric Forrest will come in for this snap. Forrest does have some snaps. He's 5 for 8 passing for 107 yards and 4 TDs. I'm assuming most of that came against the Resolution Academy team that they played.
You doubt they would try anything passing here. Expect the run. Try to stop him. Get up there and...
2nd and 14, and Force does the hard count. He bobbles the snap as well, and he is going to be brought down to the backfield. Quarterback sack again as the Scotties with 2 negative plays on the Dragons. And now a quick whistle.
That time it was Lauren Young that got the tackle, but I don't know if it's a center problem. We've had 2 different quarterbacks, and on 2 different snaps, the quarterback's not handled it cleanly, and so a problem for Hutchinson, and now more problems with an injury.
Well, you say it might be a center problem. The center is now on the field. He's laying down. It's Dominic Taylor for them, 6'4", 282-pound freshman from Georgia, but he's the guy on the field right now that they called the injury timeout for this one situation. And right now, here's the extra timeout for Highland. They only have 1 left. They used 2 in the first quarter, so here's an opportunity to say, hey, we got to buckle down. It's 3rd and 16, a minute 24 to go. Hey, you stop here, you can get the ball back, and maybe if you get a good return, have something to get in business.
It's a right knee injury for Dominic Taylor. Doesn't look real good as he's unable to put much pressure on that, hobbling off the field. But I don't know if it was really his fault. It wasn't like the snaps were high or lower to the side. It was just both the quarterbacks bobbled him and didn't really handle those snaps very cleanly. And now 3rd down and really long distance here for the Blue Dragons.
16 yards to be exact, and Jones is back in at quarterback. He'll go under center, it looks like, with 2 backs in the backfield and twin receivers to the far side. And it's a 3rd and 16. Clock now continues to churn as we're approaching a minute to go in the first half. And Jones drops back to pass, and he's got an open pocket. That one is in the pocket and caught on the seat of his pants. Oh, a nice catch. I didn't think he was able to get to it, but rolled through with the catch and hauled in that time by Shannon. He's had 2 big catches, and that one for another first down, and that preserves the possession for Hutchinson and keeps the drive rolling.
Every single pass completion for Hutchinson seems to be going to the middle of the field. They're not taking any shots, not running any down and outs. Everything is going to the middle of the field, and Highland's going to have some defensive adjustments, maybe with the safeties or how they play these receivers, maybe a step inside, because all the completions are going right near between the hashes here in the middle of the field.
And Hutchinson utilizes a timeout. They still have 2 to work with a minute 4 to go, but ball is still on their side of the field on the 46-yard line for the Blue Dragons. Blue Dragons get into the red zone a couple different junctures in this contest, but can't net 2 field goals as they miss them wide left each time. Also turn it over on downs just outside of the red zone on a 4th and 12 play early on. And they've spoiled 3 prime opportunities, Justin, for themselves as Hutchinson. Highland, of course, had the scoring opportunity off the interception in this ball game, but could not net a field goal of their own as missed a 47-yarder off the crossbar, right dead middle of the crossbar as well.
Yeah, a lot of missed opportunities for both teams. That's probably what Hutch is thinking here. Let's get about 25, 30 yards, take one more shot before halftime at a field goal.
Jones in the shotgun, twins to each side, drops back to pass, now getting a little pressure, and it's going to be fumbled. It's on the ground. Highland's got it. Yes, the Scotties pounce on it there, and Highland's now in business. Mario Dungy, Johnny on the spot for the first fumble recovery of the season on the defensive side of the ball. Big hit there for the Scotties, and they force the fumble, and they get the second turnover of the ball game in the process.
And I think it was Amandu Fofana that was able to get the pressure on the quarterback, make him fumble it as he had a hit to kind of jar the ball loose. Second takeaway by the Scotty D, and a minute to go. They need a good 10 yards maybe or 15 here to get in field goal range before the half.
Amadou has stepped up his game over the course of the last couple ones for sure. Kearns will go in the shotgun, twins to the far side, one lone receiver to the near side. Kyle, quick pass, there's Howard. He's got it. He's at the 30-yard line, be wrangled down close to the first down. 54 seconds to work with right now. This should be a chain mover, and it's a 1st and 10 for Highland. They're in the hurry up. Willie Jordan's the back in the backfield with Kyle Kearns. He goes to the hip pocket of the right side of Kyle. Twin receivers to the near side. Tight end goes out to as well, and there's Ronnie Jameson, intended target, but can't hold on. Pass would have been complete for maybe about 2 yards if Jameson would have hauled it in.
Well, you like the aggressiveness here by Highland. They say forget getting in field goal range. Let's try to score a touchdown. They come out passing the football here after the takeaway. Some short routes. That one obviously trying to go to the sideline as they don't have many timeouts to work with, but at least can try to pass the football and move it downfield.
2nd and 10 now for the Scotties on the 23 of the Blue Dragons. One timeout as the halftime is looming. Kearns got plenty of time, looking to pass this one and will just throw it away. Didn't have anybody open. Ronnie Jameson, the closest guy in the vicinity, but it sailed 5 yards over his head and out of bounds. So clock stops at 36 seconds, but it also now 3rd down. 3rd and 10. Ball from the 28. I said 23, by the way. It's at the 28, excuse me.
Yeah, from here it'd be still about a 45-yard field goal probably. Yeah. So they'd love to get some yardage here. One thing we haven't seen much of is any of the screen, like little bubble screen or wide receiver screen passes. You'd like to find a way to get the ball into the hands of a playmaker like Ronnie Jameson and see what he can do in the flats.
Or a little dump pass to their backs in Brown or Jordan. And Kearns going to take a big hit, but he airs it out. He's got his man, but it's going to be intercepted. No, incomplete. As it was almost picked off that time by Jerry Jacobs. But gentleman down in the end zone for Highland at the moment. Didn't see who it was. He gets up, and it's actually Ronnie Jameson.
Phenomenal coverage there by Hutchinson. You couldn't ask for any better coverage than that, and nearly an interception. This is a tough decision. A 45-yard field goal, Mike, but into the wind. Yeah. I think Highland may just try to go for it here with just 29 seconds left to go till halftime.
Yeah, 4th and 10, and the offense stays on the field at this point. 29 seconds to work with, and Kearns and company from the 28-yard line going to set things up. Go twins to the far side, and come running in. Hutchinson's going to call a timeout, and they wanted to see what Highland was going to line up in, no doubt, and then set their defense accordingly. Scotties want to get on the board first in this ball game. Thought they might be able to accomplish that feat with that 47-yard field goal attempt from William Solomon, but Solo unfortunately missing that field goal after netting a 46-yarder last week, which is his college career best and actually a all-time long for Highland Community College, and tried to best that by 1 yard. Unfortunately, it hit the crossbar. Just needed a few inches and maybe to bounce up a little bit higher, but unfortunately he couldn't do that. Hutch spoiled 2 opportunities for field goals. They missed wide left both times and had another opportunity that was just outside of the red zone that ended on a turnover on downs. They've also turned the ball over twice too, has the Blue Dragons, and this is still a scoreless ball game. Battle, which is what you expect in the Jayhawk Conference week in and week out basis. And I think, coming into this ball game, Justin, Scotties wanted to maybe have more of a lower scoring battle in this one, not a shootout type situation, and it's proved to be a tough battle so far in this contest. But here comes 4th down. Crucial play with 29 seconds to go. 4th down on the 28. Kearns takes the pass. He's under pressure, and it's going to be passed down to the feet of Ronnie Jameson, who checked back in, which is good to see him back, but head coach Aaron Arnold, unfortunately, doesn't see his guys able to convert in that scenario. And now 26 seconds to go before halftime, and Hutchinson takes over on downs as Highland will turn it over on the Blue Dragon 28.
Coach Arnold over there just keeps slapping his hands and kind of looking at the ground. He's got to be thinking a second wasted opportunity after his defense created a turnover. And that time it looked like Carnes just felt the pressure and maybe dumped the pass a little bit sooner than he wanted. It was low on a little running back screen that probably would have gone for a first down had he been able to hit Jordan in stride.
A guy bearing down right in his face, straight down the chute, and kind of maybe rushed Kyle a little bit more than he wanted to be in that scenario. And Jones will just take a knee for the final few ticks to come off the clock here in the first half, and Hutchinson will just settle for it being tied at scoreless. Nobody gets on the board in the first half, but both teams have opportunities, and both teams, well, spoil their own opportunities for themselves to find the end zone or find points at that matter here in the first half.
I think Hutch probably feels like they should be up by a touchdown or two, as they at least had some red zone opportunities on offense, and nobody to blame but themselves. They really shot themselves in the foot whenever they got down inside the red zone. Highland's offense has got to make some adjustments here in the second half as well. Just not much offense at all for the Scotties. Their best opportunities to score were after 2 takeaways, but they weren't able to score on either one of those. So that's definitely been a defensive struggle, but Hutch has moved the ball and put up more yardage on offense. They just have shot themselves in the foot much more than Highland, and maybe you expected that a bit coming in. You talked about Hutch being one of the most penalized teams in the Jayhawk Conference.
No doubt about that, of course. And we'll break down the first half statistics, tell you how it shook out in the first half as well. No scoring plays to talk about. We'll do all that coming up on the halftime, as the Scotties have won 2 straight against Hutch, looking to make it 3, but this is a scoreless battle right now. Halftime coming up in just a bit here on the Scotty Sports Network and 103.9 KNZA.
The Bank of Highland has made a commitment. One, to provide a banking experience that is dependable, dedicated, and loyal to their customers. They offer many services, including standard checking and savings accounts, as well as loans for agriculture, homes, and autos. They want to be your trusted financial partner. The Bank of Highland, branch of Bendina State Bank, making life better right here at home. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. Highland Community College surprises a lot of people. Generally thought as one of the smallest, Highland is actually in the middle of the 19 Kansas community colleges in enrollment. Its Highland campus has a real college feel with housing, athletics, student organizations, theater, concerts, art shows, an operating farm, and distinctive academic programs in its regional centers that cover the college's 9-county service area in northeast Kansas. Viticulture, enology, precision agriculture, diesel, construction technology, early childhood. Check it out, Highland Community College, online at highlandcc.edu.
KNZA.
Welcome back here on Halftime. Mike Smith alongside Justin Fluke on 103.9 KNZA and MSCSports.net and the Scotty Sports Network for today's showdown. Highland makes their third road trip of the season, 4th game of the year. They're in Hutchinson today, as we are with you for the showdown. And a defensive struggle for both teams as well. And best wishes, by the way, to the offensive lineman that went down for Hutchinson. He's leaving on the cart, as I see here at halftime, so that's not a positive sign for him. But best wishes to him. Hopefully nothing too serious in that capacity. Never like to see the injuries. But scoreless here at halftime, Justin, between these two teams that are on the precipice of top 20 rankings. You got to think whoever is victorious today probably breaks into the polls next week, most likely. But also sets themselves up to be in a prime spot towards the top of the Jayhawk Conference as well. But both teams had opportunities early on. Actually, go 3 and out the first offensive drives each, and then Hutchinson had 2 opportunities that were spoiled in the red zone on 2 missed field goals that went wide left. They ultimately turned the ball over on downs just outside the red zone in the first half too. Highland missed the first scoring opportunity of the game, a 47-yard field goal try by Solomon that went off the crossbar, dead middle, that hit that middle of the crossbar and bounced away. And that's how we sit at this point right now. Highland's offense struggled mightily in the first half to even move the ball. Got a few positive plays here and there, but of not even amassed 50 total yards yards of offense in this one. Now, Hutchinson hasn't put up any grandiose numbers of their own, but it's definitely lopsided as far as the numbers go here when we look at that at halftime.
Yeah, Highland just doesn't have much offense. Hutchinson has offense, but they're the ones that have the mistakes. They're the team that has 2 turnovers. They're the team that has a costly 10-yard penalty and some other things like bobbled snaps and miscommunication on handoffs that won't even show up on the stat sheet. Hutchinson does have 155 yards of offense to just 43 total yards for Highland. But here's the other thing. They ran twice as many plays. Highland only got 22 offensive snaps in the first half, and third downs they couldn't convert on throughout the first half. 0 for 6 on third downs. Also, time of possession doubled up as well as the plays, as Highland only had it for about 10 minutes on offense, and Hutchinson had it for nearly 20 minutes in the first half. But, you know, you don't hurt yourselves if you're Highland. You don't turn it over. You don't have penalties. You let your defense do what they've done all season, and they've done that here today. They're the reason that this game is still scoreless for the most part here at halftime.
No doubt. Scotty's just garnered 2 first downs, and Hutch, I believe, only 9. So neither team, moving the ball with utmost effectiveness in that first half. And whoever can figure out that conundrum for the offense is going to be victorious in this ball game, more likely, because unless there's some odd play like a turnover or something like that can generate points, and that might be what is needed to win this ball game. A play like that, a big special teams spark, a big spark where a defensive score happens or something in this type of struggle of a ball game between these two teams. We see that a play like that might be the play that ultimately decides the contest.
Well, Highland got the 2 big plays. They just weren't able to return the football after getting the takeaways and the 2 opportunities that they had. A couple of the things here from the stats in the first half. As third downs, we mentioned Highland 0 for 6. Hutchinson was 6 out of 10, so that's part of the reason they ran so many more plays and their offense was on the field so much. And I think mainly the only adjustment that I can think of for Highland defensively is find a better way in the secondary to defend the middle of the field. Most of Hutchinson's passing yardage came on receptions in the middle of the field between the hashes. Cam Jones was 9 of 16 in the first half for 138 yards. They only ran the football for 17 yards, so a lot of their offense coming through the air, 4 different receivers getting involved, but almost all of them making those catches on down and in routes or slant routes, everything going towards the middle of the football field. So one thing to address there. Offensively for Highland, they want to keep rushing the football, and it starts up front. Hopefully a couple more opportunities to create some holes offensively, and they had a couple plays there where they got their only first down in the first half with a couple rushes to move the sticks and at least give their defense a chance to catch their breath. But we've yet to see any consistency for more than just a play or 2 for Highland offensively, and they want to get it going first on the ground before Carnes has an opportunity. Kyle just 5 out of 12 for 36 yards passing in the first half.
Yeah, but less than 10 yards rushing when you look at Highland's rushing overall as a team, and that's not what they want to do. Coach Arnold wants to establish the run early on, but right now, well, that isn't coming to fruition here between Willie Jordan and Kevin Brown, as both defenses had, defensive lines have played pretty solidly in this contest and getting to the opposing offenses and stymieing the momentum of any of those things potentially happening. So, well, scoreless ball game and a fun one at that as far as it goes with the scores and situations how played out, as we'll see what happens in the second half. We're going to take a 3-minute timeout here on the radio dial and Scotty Sports Network and be back to break down the second half of this one. Tell you what both teams need to do to come out on top in this showdown. You're watching on the Scotty Sports Network and listening on 103.9 KNZA.
Attention farmers, poor drainage got your yields down? Precision Grading Design can help. With more than 8 years experience, Precision Grading Design has the experience you are looking for in site development, terrace design for drainage solutions, and any civil grading project. They also do private surveying and mapping and cater all design projects to be built using the latest GPS construction equipment, ensuring quality, accuracy, and efficiency. Contact Rocky Runke at 785-444-3702 or visit precision-grading-design.com for more information on Precision Grading Design of Highland, Kansas.
What is it that stays with Highland alums that make them want to come back and work there? Almost 40 Scotty alums are now Scotty employees, and that number increases every year. Highland President David Rice encourages and supports those who work there with a simple philosophy. You're hired to do a job, do it well. Supporting folks to do their jobs encourages them to meet Rice's simple but high standards. Consequently, Highland faculty, staff, and administration are all part of a supportive culture that helps each other do their jobs well. Check it out, Highland Community College, online at highlandcc.edu.
Here's your Kansas Radio listening area forecast. Well, it looks like we're going to see quiet weather as we head throughout the rest of this weekend, but definitely not feeling like fall time as we'll see temperatures remain in the upper 80s. We do have a low that's going to sweep across our area, bringing us some showers and thunderstorms as we head into the early parts of next week. Then finally going to see cooler temperatures back into the 70s by Tuesday and into the middle of next week. So looking at the forecast, throughout the rest of this afternoon, sunny skies, upper 80s. We'll see wind gusts as high as 25. Tonight, mostly clear, upper 60s. Winds will be from the southeast at 5 and 10. For Sunday, mostly sunny, high near 87. Winds will be from the south between 5 and 10. For Sunday night, partly cloudy, slight change to showers and thunderstorms late with a low near 67. For Monday, partly sunny, occasional showers and thunderstorms with a high near 80. For Monday night, showers and thunderstorms likely. We'll see temperatures at 58 degrees. From the Weather Eye Weather Center, this is meteorologist Megan Mulford.
Hi, this is Diamond Dan for Diamonds by Design Jewelry Stores. Diamonds by Design is a full-service jewelry store with a variety of fine jewelry to fit every budget. Come in and let Marcia and her staff help to make your special occasion even more special. Diamonds by Design, locally owned and operated for over 15 years, and we specialize in custom design jewelry with a full-time designer in-house and computer software that lets you build your very own custom design jewelry. Come see Diamonds by Design at 21st and Wanamaker in Topeka.
Is your future secure? The Bendina State Bank is your community-minded bank that accepts the responsibility of helping neighbors and friends live easier through insecure financial times, providing loans for home, auto, and agriculture, as well as standard checking and savings accounts. Depend on your friends at the Bendina State Bank to help secure your future. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
103.9 FM, KNZA.
Welcome back here on the Halftime Show. Mike Smith alongside with you. Justin Fluke with me here on the Scotty Sports Network today. And also, of course, right on 103.9 KNZA and MSCSports.net. Kirk Hillman back at the studio. Special thanks to him, as always, for all he does. And we are locked in a battle and a struggle at that offensively for two teams, as Highland Community College taking on Hutchinson on the road. And it is goose eggs on the board through the first half. And both teams had opportunities. Hutchinson more than Highland in that first half, Justin. And, well, right now it's both teams, not giving up points at this juncture, and we'll see how it comes to fruition in the second half. Highland did a really good job last year, leading 20-0, and Hutchinson made a furious comeback, 21 unanswered points in the fourth quarter, and Highland had to score with 2:30 left to go on a big play that gave them the win. And it might be a big play that's needed in this showdown to be victorious here, because, well, I'm not expecting much scoring in the second half if we see something like the first half.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm trying to think of some different things offensively that maybe we haven't seen yet, and they just haven't had enough snaps maybe to try a few different things. But I haven't seen much of the quick, short passing routes, some of the screens, some of those type of plays to at least get the ball into the hands of a receiver or running back and see if they can make a man miss or break a tackle and turn it into a big play. Obviously, they don't want to just go away from the running game. They're going to continue to try to rush the football, and it starts up front with the offensive line, but it doesn't seem like Kearns has had great protection, and the shots downfield have been defended really well. So I look maybe if there's an adjustment offensively, especially in the passing game, for Highland to try some shorter passing routes, see if they can get the ball to some guys and make a man miss, or at least try to build a little confidence and get a few completed passes to give Kearns a little more momentum there throwing the football.
I think they may have attempted one pass out into the flat, but that would be the type of situation you want there, a little dump passes as well. Maybe get Jordan or Brown in space and try to get some open lanes for those guys to bust out and through a hole that they can take advantage of and see. And maybe you try to air it out a little bit more too. Go for a big play at that and try to catch Hutch off guard in that capacity. We'll wait and see. I mean, Ronnie Jameson, your big play threat, but you've got other guys that can catch the ball. I mean, there's been a plethora of guys catching the ball. 6 or more different receivers have caught a pass in the first 3 games of the the season for Highland at this point. So ball distribution's there, so you can get several different guys involved, and we'll see what they can do in the second half. And I mean, if you're Hutchinson, you like to run the ball quite a bit, and well, they actually pass the ball better than in running attack. But Highland had a lot to say about that, and with their defensive line stymieing their run, but they were able to hit those plays, like you said, more or less in between the hash marks and in the middle of the field. So going to have to rein that in, Highland is, to make sure that Hutchinson doesn't move the ball, and they were able to hold them off the scoreboard in those scenarios. But whichever offense can figure it out and find something that clicks, definitely going to put themselves in the driver's seat in this one.
One thing about it, both teams are in a familiar spot. I don't think either team's going to blink or panic because it's a close game or a tie game. Obviously, this game was a season ago between these two teams, and look already this year. Highland had that 5-point game against Dodge that they won, the 4-point tough loss to Garden City. Hutchinson has an 8-point win against Coffeyville, 6-point loss to Iowa Western, and a 3-point win against Garden City last week. So it's a tie game, but hey, both these teams are accustomed to that. Close games going down the stretch. Who will make a big play? Who will make the least amount of mistakes? And who's going to come out on top? Going to be fun to watch unfold here in the second half of this one.
Yeah, locked in battles that were grinded out type of situations in different facets too. I mean, you have more scoring in some games of those that you mentioned, and you also, of course, have some defensive struggles in those games that you mentioned as well for the teams combined. And we'll kind of see who can rekindle some of what they had success in those other games in this situation here. And Highland's 2-0 on the road so far this season. Try to make it 3-0 and head back home from another long road trip with another W, and ultimately kind of control their own destiny from this point on if they can get the win here today in the Jayhawk Conference standings. That is controlling their own destiny in that capacity, because Garden City has lost now twice in league play. That's the lone league loss for Highland on the year. But it's going to be an interesting thing how it unfolds. Highland's winning the turnover battle +2, as they have not turned the ball over. That trend will need to continue to hold on to the ball. They had a bad situation on exchange that almost resulted in a fumble. Did result in a negative play, but ultimately they did hold on to the ball there. So got to keep the turnovers away from happening in this one and get opportunities. Just find something on offense that you can hang your hat on and move the ball with some consistency, because, well, you're bound to think that Hutchinson, if they continue to move the ball with some frequency, might get some sort of points somewhere. So you got to be able to not allow that to happen and find something on offense yourself as well as you get ready for the second half. We're going to slip in a 2-minute timeout. We'll be back when just about ready for the second half kick in just a few moments. You're listening to the action on 103.9 KNZA and watching online too on the Scotty Sports Network.
Attention farmers, poor drainage got your yields down? Precision Grading Design can help. With more than 8 years experience, Precision Grading Design has the experience you are looking for in site development, terrace design for drainage solutions, and any civil grading project. They also do private surveying and mapping and cater all design projects to be built using the latest GPS construction equipment, ensuring quality, accuracy, and efficiency. Contact Rocky Runke at 785-444-3702 or visit precision-grading-design.com for more information on Precision Grading Design of Highland, Kansas.
Highland Community College continues to make college more affordable. Administrated by Nelnet Business Solutions, HCC now offers payment plans. Any student taking an HCC course may finance their tuition fee and main campus housing via one of 3 different payment plans. Choose from day, evening, weekend, or online classes with one great low rate. Associate's degrees and transferable classes with financial aid and scholarships also available. Highland Community College. From here, you can see anywhere.
Hi, this is Diamond Dan for Diamonds by Design Jewelry Stores. Diamonds by Design is a full-service jewelry store with a variety of fine jewelry to fit every budget. Come in and let Marcia and her staff help to make your special occasion even more special. Diamonds by Design, locally owned and operated for over 15 years, and we specialize in custom design jewelry with a full-time designer in-house and computer software that lets you build your very own custom design jewelry. Come see Diamonds by Design at 21st and Wanamaker in Topeka.
Friends and neighbors, live easier through many financial services provided by the Bendina State Bank. They're your community-minded local bank, delivered to hard work for their friends and neighbors. Financial services provided include checking and savings accounts and loans for agriculture, home, and auto. Depend on your friends at the Bendina State Bank to help secure your future. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
103.9 FM, KNZA.
Well, just about ready to roll into the second half. Mike Smith alongside with you. Of course, Justin Fluke joining me today as well. Thanks to all the Highland Athletic Department doing a great job today as well with everything, as we are on the Scotty Sports Network as well as 103.9 KNZA and MSCSports.net. Coming up on Monday, just a quick plug, we will have Highland Community College volleyball. The Lady Scotties ranked 18th in the country for the volleyball team, coming off of a win last night against St. Mary's, University of St. Mary's JV, but the Lady Scotties will take on Coffeyville in a Jayhawk Conference showdown. That is coming up on Monday night, 5:30 start time. You can catch the Lady Scotties volleyball showdown not only on the Scotty Sports Network, as they'll have the play-by-play, but also on 103.9 KNZA on Monday night too. So we'll have the volleyball on the radio dial and the Scotty Sports Network coming up on Monday night, and then they'll play again on next Wednesday on the Scotty Sports Network against Labette. So be on the lookout for a couple of Highland volleyball showdowns for the Scotties in Jayhawk Conference play. But it's a Jayhawk Conference opponent for Highland football today here in Hutchinson, Kansas, as it's a warm one as fall has started, but ultimately right now it doesn't feel like that. Nice hot weather outside, over 90 degrees today as far as the contest goes, but a lot of good games going on in the Jayhawk Conference going on today. Dodge City and Butler, that's a battle of ranked teams, Justin, between those two teams. Independence is the other ranked team. They take on Iowa Central, a team that Highland won handedly against last week. Of course, you look at some other matchups going on today. There's only one other one. That would be Coffeyville and Iowa Western. Iowa Western, the Reavers, pretty good for themselves here this year too. So ultimately, those are the matchups at hand here today. Fort Scott and Garden City both off this week in Jayhawk Conference action. I think that Dodge City Butler game was set for a 1 o'clock kick, so they just got underway a little bit ago between those two teams. As I said, those two teams are ranked, but Independence is now the highest ranked team in the Jayhawk Conference. Garden City actually tumbling out of the polls, was ranked 11th, but with the loss to Hutch last week, they dropped all the way out of the top 20. And both Hutchinson and Highland receiving votes, and logic says that a win against each other would probably put you in to the polls next week. Depending on how, of course, other things shake out. Highland won the toss, selected to defer, so the Scotties will get the ball first to start the second half. And, well, a great start to the second half, Justin, would be extremely ideal for the Scotties.
Yeah, their adjustments are on the offensive side. Let's see what they can show us offensively to give us some signs of hope of how they're going to make some adjustments to be able to block a little better, move the football a little bit more, and ultimately get some points up on the scoreboard. Nice kick return would help too. Scotties will have the win here in the third quarter, and the wind's still a factor. In fact, they just blew the ball off the tee. So 15, 20 mile an hour gust above 20 at times. And Highland will have that win here in the third quarter when they get the football here.
Trey Willis and Ronnie Jameson both back deep to field this kickoff. And Highland gets it from Luke Niemeyer, actually going to be short and fielded just inside the 30-yard line. And Scotties will take it over the far side. Upended that time, as it was fielded that time by Tariq Williams, who had a big 70-plus yard touchdown reception last week. He caught his only 2 passes of the season for 91 yards in the score last week against Iowa Central. Williams fields that and, well, brings it to the 33-yard line. And that's where Highland will start and set up shop offensively for the first offensive drive of the second second half. Offensively, again, mustering under 50 yards of offense for Highland in the first half. They'll try to remedy that and find something that's consistent on the offensive end. Twin receivers, now they go with trips over to the far side. Motion the tight end out to the near side as well. Low snap. Carnes picks it up. Quick pass and incomplete as out to Raekwon Price, who caught a touchdown early on in the season, actually back in week 1 against Dodge City. And that was his only pass reception thus far this season, but Price can't hold on to that pass on first down, and the incompletion sets up 2nd and 10.
Well, the low snap probably didn't help, but we did see kind of some of what we were talking about, Mike, some short passes. That was a prime opportunity. They overloaded with trips to the far side, so the safeties were cheating over that way. The defensive backs tried to get one-on-one here on the near side, just couldn't make the play.
Snap there, going to go handoff to Brown, who goes up the middle and will churn out about 2 to 3 yards. Gobbled up by several guys, including the big man in the middle, Talon Humphrey. Big nose guard. 360, 6'6". That's pretty intimidating size up in the middle of that defense for Hutchinson.
Well, it's no wonder the secondary's been so good for Hutch. You look at 3 guys that are sophomores that have a little bit of experience. They've covered the Scotty receivers very well today.
Twin receivers to the near side. Jamison and Willis both split out. One lone back in the backfield is Brown. Carnes going over to the far side across the middle and caught by Howard. Will be caught, and it's a first down. Ball up at the 45-yard line.
Slant route, perfect pass, and a good job by Howard to hang on because, again, the coverage was tight, but a much-needed conversion on 3rd down for the Scotties. Keep that offense on the field, just their second first down of the game. And now a little bit of controversy is Hutch saying it was incomplete, but the call had already been made.
Yeah, the call had already been made, and then Hutch saying that's incomplete. Howard lost the ball when he was down on the ground, so I believe that it was forced because of the turf in that situation, but thus the catch had been already signaled that it was a completion, and it looks like it will be that the case.
That's the right call. It was way too late to try to overturn it, and I'm with you. He caught the ball, he went down, and then he kind of flipped it out and motioned for a first down. They got the right call there, and Highland's got to keep the offense moving here. We've seen a couple pass plays already with the wind at their back here in the 3rd quarter.
Ball up to the 45-yard line, and Kyle Kearns goes in the shotgun with the receiver split out to each side. Jamison to the receiver to the near side here, and it's bobbled. Brown lost the handle on the exchange, and then he is just thrown down to the ground and comes up. Well, he's still on the ground. I shouldn't say comes up, but he's hurt. Is Kevin Brown after the bad exchange on the handoff.
And that one's on Brown because Kearns just held the ball out there. We could clearly see the ball just being held out beside him, and maybe Brown didn't think he was going to for sure take it if it was some kind of a read type of play, but he didn't grab that thing firmly at all, and he's lucky that they got it back. Still no turnovers for Highland today, but a little bobble like that cost him a couple yards just as they had picked up a first down and maybe started to find a little momentum. Hutch getting 4 new guys out there on the defensive line.
Yeah, Brown still being looked at on the far side around the 40-yard line, and Highland operating right to left across your radio dial and the screen here in this 3rd quarter. Scoreless showdown, 13:43 left to play in the 3rd. Highland with the first offensive drive of the 2nd half, won the toss, selected to defer. And right now, could be without Kevin Brown for a little bit, being tended to again. Hopefully he'll be all right. He's a dynamic player. Unfortunately, hasn't been able to get any dynamic plays here for himself.
Yeah, a lot of talk was about the sophomore Willie Jordan coming into this season, and rightfully so. But Kevin Brown has done a little bit more with limited carries. He has 260 yards rushing. Willie Jordan just 152 despite having 21 more carries on the season. I think it's Brown's speed that's kind of brought another dimension to the Highland offense, but now Willie Jordan's going to be the man out there as Highland faces 2nd down and 12.
2-yard loss on that play. Jamison splits out to the near side. They motion 2 tight ends now to the near side as well. Jordan the back in the backfield with Carnes and dropping back to pass. Kyle's got a man on the far sideline. Good coverage, though, as Jerry Jacobs has been like a blanket out there on the coverage that time.
Yeah, we've seen him 2 or 3 times making phenomenal plays. That ball that was thrown in the end zone late first half for Jamison was almost intercepted by Jerry Jacobs. We've called his name a lot, and Highland may want to try to find some other corner or defensive back to pick on here if they're going to throw it on offense.
Williams was the intended target, by the way, for Kyle's pass, but incomplete, and sets up 3rd and long, 3rd and 12 from the 43-yard line. Kearns drops back to pass. He's got some time. He's going to go across the middle, but throws behind his receiver. An incomplete pass. Janari Smith, the tight end, was the intended target, but like I said, threw behind him, and the incompletion spoils what looked to be a promising start to that drive, and then quickly foiled after that. Highland will have to punt it away.
Man, not a good pass that time by Kearns. I'm sure he'd like to have it back, but it was kind of the bobbled exchange that cost a couple yards and sent Kevin Brown to the sideline that disrupted that series on offense.
4 punts, average of 43 yards on the 4 punts here today for Lane Spiker, his longest of 54, which is his longest of the season. This is a booming one, but it will boom itself into the end zone, and it will be a touchback instead.
That was a 57-yard punt, but it's only going to be a net of 37. And, of course, he had the wind at his back, but 57 yards, a little bit too much as it comes back out here to the 20-yard line.
Yeah, it's not like it dotted the I on the goal line. It was midway through the end zone when it landed. But ball up to the 20-yard line where Hutchinson starts off their first offensive drive of the second half.
Defense has had a little rest. They got to stay good, though. Stay tight. Keep assignment sound as they did throughout the first half.
Left to right across your radio dial here in the second half, and across the screen for Hutchinson. Jones hands this one off and quickly brought down right back at the line of scrimmage. Great ball. Oh, some frustrations showing there that time as Highland Community College getting up in the face there. That was Fofana. Had some extracurriculars after there. Quickly his teammates and the referee, one of them, was able to pull him back. But
well, he was tangled up with Robert Lacey, who's in there playing the right guard position for Hutchinson, a freshman from Mobile, Alabama. And I think Lacey might have kind of shoved him well after the play was over, and Fofana didn't take too kindly of that.
One other big thing that we want to watch is there's a new center because Taylor left, and it's now Matt David in that position, and a penalty flag flies in. There hadn't been much yellow in this ball game, and that's maybe a surprise because Hutchinson averages 12.5 penalties per game for over 100 yards of penalties, but they've been relatively able to rein that in, Justin. False start here, so that will be Hutch's in the penalty capacity. You have to look it up. Second penalty, and that's actually only second penalty accepted in this ball game.
You know, you mentioned Matt David. I want to talk about him just a little bit more. Anytime we get an opportunity to talk about Kansas kids on the rosters now that are still making an impact in this tough Jayhawk conference with out-of-state numbers being lifted. David, a kid, town. Lincoln, Kansas.
Yeah. Not a big place.
Play 8-man football.
Yeah.
Now he's the starting center here for Hutch JUCO.
Jones dropping back to pass, looking to the near side. Oh, he's hit, and that'll be almost intercepted.
Had a pick six.
Man, Rico Hanna had the pick six, as Justin said. He had nothing but daylight in front of him, and that might have been why he didn't hold on to the ball. He was thinking ahead to the score, but his pass breakup, he's frustrated. Hanna, who had basically not played at all this season until last week because of the early targeting call against Dodge City in matchup number 1, thus being out against Garden City because of that, because Jayhawk Conference has the rule where if you get a targeting call, you have to sit out the next game on top of the rest of the game that you get the call in. And Hanna was a savage last week at the linebacker spot. Racked up most of his tackles. His 14 tackles, like 12 of those, I think, was last week. Here's a big third down and 15. Jones, 3-step drop. Now he's under pressure. He's going to sling it across the middle. Whoa, and he airmails that 5 yards over the head of the intended target. There is some penalties, and I have a feeling it's going to be on Highland based on the way it is. It's around where the quarterback Jones was hit. Frustration
on the touch. Highland will decline this penalty, but I think it might be a late hit or something on the quarterback.
Well, the way one of the Hutchinson players. Yeah, personal foul, and if you're going to get a penalty, it's the worst one of the situation there.
They would have had to punt from their own end zone into the wind. Darn, first penalty of the day for Highland. But and a tough one.
Yeah, tough one because it's automatic first down, but it was a 15-yarder as well, and it was 3rd and 15 in that situation. The ball migrates all the way up to the 30-yard line, and now it's a 1st and 10 here with 12 minutes to go in the third. And White Hat calls for stoppage there for the play clock. 12:03 left to go in the third period, but we ultimately had a situation where Highland looked like they were going to put the Blue Dragons back on their heels and force the punt. Unfortunately, they had the penalty and, well, now give up the first down. Hanna with the great tackle, but it's after a about 4 to 5 yard gain by the ball carrier Otis Williams.
One thing we should mention as well, one of the reasons why Rico Hanna had the chance for the interception in the pick six, and the reason the ball was so much underthrown, as there was pressure on Cam Jones. In fact, he was hit as he was releasing that ball, so it was underthrown. That's why Hanna had a chance for the INT. Next time he went to throw it on 3rd and 16, he airmailed it like 6 yards over the head of the receiver.
Lone receiver split out to the near side. Don Williams in on coverage there. Here's the back in the backfield, though. Will take the handoff, and great hit by Jeremiah Hill to bring down the ball carrier. Williams yet again. Williams did lunge ahead past the 35 to the 36. Sets up 3rd and manageable. About 4 yards to go on 3rd down.
Looked like Hanna was about being held that time. He couldn't get away from Johnny Lupton, the big tight end for Hutchinson. And another 3rd down, another chance for the Scotty D to get off the field. Hutchinson has gone back to the run game here the last couple plays after their quarterback looked a little shaken.
They'll go twins to the far side. Looks like B.J. Emmons back in the backfield, and they fake the handoff to him. Roll out. Jones under pressure by Lauren Young. He gets away from him. Dump pass and incomplete. Great coverage there. Lauren Young bearing down on the quarterback as well, but the pass coverage by the linebacker Rico Hanna, and he breaks up the pass over on the far sideline, bringing up 4th down, and the Blue Dragons will punt.
Great coverage by the Scotty secondary deep. Great pressure by Lauren Young. Great job by Rico Hanna to get his hand in there and deflect that ball, as it would have been right at the first down sticks if it had been caught by the Hutch receiver.
And multiple guys making plays on that. I know it won't go down for Young and crew that were in pursuit of the quarterback by anything, but that play was made because of those guys' pressure on the quarterback. Isaiah Gray back deep just inside the 30-yard line to try to return this punt. Does have a 44-yard return on a punt. This is a low line drive, but Gray will let it bounce, and it goes over to the far side and inside the 25 down to about the 23. And Highland's defense comes up big again, Justin, and we thought, they may be spoiled there, but hey, they buckle down again after the penalty that gave the first down. They buckle in and, force Blue Dragons to ultimately punt.
Yeah, if not for a penalty flag, they might have the ball around the 50 right now, but instead they'll have to settle for starting at their own 23-yard line. Picked up 1 first down, their first possession of the second half. They get it back here with 10:32 to go, and we'll see if the offense again can create some holes up front and work their way upfield.
One back in the backfield, receivers split out to each side, and Kern's going to hand this off to Willie Jordan.
Nope.
Actually, no, he held on to it, and then he lost the handle, and it's picked up by Hutch. And Hutchinson will scoop it and go to the 10-yard line.
Was he not down?
I guess not.
I thought he was laying on his back whenever that ball came out.
I thought he was on the seat of his pants, but apparently the referee's in disagreement of that situation. And the
Coach Arnold's hot.
First turnover of the game for Highland is in a really bad spot.
Well,
it's actually going to be marked down to the 12-yard line, so not quite 1st and goal. 1st and 10 from the 12 for Hutchinson, and this is the best opportunity that they've had, closest they've been to the end zone. They've been in the red zone twice, but came up empty each time.
A lot of pressure on the D. They barely had a chance to catch their breath there. One play, and they're right back in, backs against the end zone.
Handoff that time. Looks like Waller getting the handoff, and he'll go up the middle, get about a yard gain. Trey Barrett comes up from the safety spot to get the tackle. Jamal Winter up there in on that offensive line. Fofana as well, I believe, was in there to get in as well.
Well, if they could hold him to a field goal here, that'd be a tremendous victory after giving up this kind of field position. And Coach Arnold and Mr. Kearns, the quarterback, were not seeing eye to eye as Kearns came off the sideline, and Coach Arnold still getting after the offense over there on the far sideline.
That's not a conversation you probably want to be in right now if you're Highland's offense here. Nice job by Hill to get in there and break it up in the backfield, but he didn't get the tackle. Fofana did finish him off on the ball carrier for a minimal 1 to 2 yard gain. There's B.J. Emmons, by the way, on the carry.
One more play.
Yeah, it'll
keep the ball on the left hash. Maybe their kicker will miss it wide left again.
3rd and 7 right now. We'll see. We got to get to the field goal unit coming on at this point. Want to make a stop on 3rd down for the Scotties D. Ball just inside the 10 at the 9. Jones will go in the shotgun. Lone receiver to the near side. Got two guys just offset of the line on each side as well. One lone back in the backfield. Jones lost the handle and it's still on the ground, and he'll just have to fall on top of it. Well, he couldn't have asked for a better thing except getting the ball back. As you lose yardage on the play, B.J. Emmons lost his dome as well. He'll have to head off the field, but it's going to bring up 4th down and also lost yardage, so it pushes back the field goal attempt if they do decide to go for the field goal, which they're trotting out the field goal unit on right now.
Loss of 10 yards makes it a 37-yard field goal. 37 yards into the wind. Oh, and by the way, it's on the left hash, where already twice Luke Niemeyer has missed wide left today.
He's missed 2, and he's going to go for his 3rd opportunity right now. He entered the game 2 for 2 in the field goal capacity. Kick is up, and this one is not even close. It doesn't even make it all the way, as it's off to the right, but doesn't even get close to the uprights. It makes it about only halfway into the end zone. Looked like a little dead duck just floating into the air for a second there, and like somebody, duck hunting, just shoot that out of the air, quickly went down. And 0 for 3 in the field goal unit capacity for Hutchinson. They remain off the board scoring-wise. Hutchinson, though, remains Highland remains scoreless as well for themselves, and now has a guy down on the field at the 20-yard line.
Well, that time on Niemeyer's kick, he was worried so much, Mike, about trying to get it far enough right after missing 2 wide left. That ball, if it would have kept going, was probably going to miss wide right. I think he was overcorrected just a little bit, but while he was trying to push it right, he didn't get near enough distance on it, and of course into this 20-mile-an-hour wind didn't help anything either. And wow, how about the Scotty defense standing their ground there after the offense fumbled the football inside their own 15.
Yeah, it looked like he obviously didn't get the full-on foot on that the way you properly would do so on a regular basis. But Scotty's got a guy down on the field. Again, we'll let you know who it is as soon as we can figure that out. But helping out in that situation, we'll see.
Trey Barrett?
Yep, Trey Barrett is the gentleman being helped off the field. And Trey just returning this week, but gingerly walking off the field now. He is putting some pressure, it appears, on the leg, but now he's going to get some help. Not going to put the pressure. He tried it, and now he's going to pull up, and it's a right leg injury. He's hobbling and hopping off the field. So hopefully Trey will be all right.
Doesn't look real good.
Doesn't look good. Doesn't look promising in that situation. Trying to put pressure again on the far sideline.
8:27 left, third quarter, and still 0-0. Still waiting for the Highland offense to put together 2 first downs at least on 1 possession. Kearns back out there to play QB.
And Kearns goes to the flat. He's got Jamison, but his momentum carries him backwards, and it'll be a gain on first down, but not much. Ronnie Jamison didn't have much opportunity to turn that upfield after coming up with the catch.
Well, he caught it at the 23. Why didn't they give him forward progress as his momentum carried him back, and it's going to go for a 1-yard loss. They mark it back at the 19. I thought his forward progress, though, when he made the reception, was up around the 22 or 3-yard line.
Wow. Yeah, they do mark him back a yard, so it's actually a negative play, which
doesn't help the offensive numbers a bit.
No.
Highland still under 100 yards total offense here today, mid-third quarter.
Twin receivers to the near side, or far side, Jamison in the slot. Kearns under pressure now, will be flushed, and he's going to be brought down. It's Humphrey in the backfield, grabbing the shoulder pad of Kyle Kearns, and he's able to bring him down. Kyle looked like he was going to shake free and get it out of the pocket, maybe sling a pass downfield, but unable to do so as the big hands of the big man, Humphrey in the middle, got a hold of the shoulder pad and whipped Kyle Kearns down to the turf.
Yeah, second sack of the season for Tayland Humphrey. Another sophomore for this Hutch defense from the state of Texas.
3rd and 15. He's lost 5 yards on this offensive drive. Kearns, 3-step drop, quick pass. It's going to be bobbled and incomplete. Doesn't matter if it was caught, wasn't going anywhere afterwards. Albert Howard, the intended target, and broken up. Great defensive play in that scenario as they again break up another one. Jerry Jacobs was the guy there on the coverage of Howard. Short pass, too, would have maybe gotten the 5 yards lost back, but that's obviously not enough to get the first down. So instead, the punting unit comes on. It's a quick 3-and-out for Highland's offense, and the Scotties still struggling to find offense to go their way.
Well, Lane can really boot this one, Mike. Had a 55-yarder last time. We could sure use one here as he stands at his own end zone to punt this one away.
Right on the goal line, basically, and a nice spiral here that will go and be back all the way to the 30-yard line, fielded by Waller, and Waller slips, falls to the seat of his pants at the 40, and 55-yard punt by Lane Spiker, 10-yard return. And starting at the 40-yard line, not bad field position for the Blue Dragons to take over in this situation. But Highland's defense been stout enough to keep them off the board. Hutch has tried 3 field goals and came up empty every single time. Highland looking to keep it scoreless right now while their offense figures things out.
Well, a 0-0 game at this point, better for Highland than a 9-3 game. If the field goals were all made that have been attempted here today. I think Highland jumped early that time on a hard count by Hutch.
Yeah, 3 down linemen for Highland on the move, and it's going to be a defensive offsides for 5-yard penalty on the Scotties, more than likely. Indeed, that is what it is. And so instead of 1st and 10, it's 1st and 5 from the 45. Left to right across your radio dial and across the screen for this drive for Hutchinson. Sets things up offensively for themselves. Been able to move the ball, Hutchinson has, far more effectively than Highland. 153 total yards of offense for Hutch to just 36 for Highland. Actually losing yardage the Scotties have here in the second half. Quick little run, but a gain of maybe 1-2 yards. Minimal gain by Williams.
Jakeem Green in on the stop for Highland defensively. But the gain was a good 5, almost 6 yards there before the tackle was made.
Gain of only 1, technically, because penalty. So 2nd and 4, but you're in prime good field position. I mean, the grand point you were trying to make there is that they got a situation here on 2nd down that's very good, 2nd and 4. Twin receivers stacked on top of each other to the near side. One lone back in the backfield with Jones in the shotgun. And Jones looking to pass. He goes to the fly, takes a big hit, and it's going to be caught by Williams. Williams got around Dom Williams and stumbled ahead of the 50-yard line. They'll mark him around the 49, but a first down garnered that time. Dom Williams in heavy pursuit. I think he was trying to get in the passing lane and break that pass up, but Williams was able to haul it in the flat, and Jones stood in and took a hit in the backfield and was able to still sling that pass with some precision and get that first down for Hutchinson.
Well, no Trey Barrett out there. Darius Johnson filling in at the safety spot. Jakeem Green put a big shot on Cam Jones, the quarterback, right as he threw that last ball.
Approaching 6 minutes to go in the third. Here's another handoff. It's Williams, stretch out play, and he's going to be stretched out to the near sideline by Kendrick Caddis, who will bring him down. Just about a 1 to 2 yard gain, and that sets up 2nd and around 8 yards to go for the Blue Dragons in Scotty territory again, though.
You have to kind of wonder at some point, Mike, if the Scotty defense isn't going to just wear down a little bit. They've been on the field all day today. Many times, just like the last possession, their backs against the wall. No margin for error, and so far they've lived up to the billing and done everything as good as they can.
Twins to each side. Jones in the backfield. Williams again the back for Hutchinson. Jones, 3-step drop, looks to pass. He's under pressure again and finds it. Actually, it's Waller out of the backfield, and Waller's got the pass. He's going to get the first down, too, and brought down on the far side. Nice play for the Scotties that time around. Javon Jones.
Nice stop and go, and this is not going to be good for Highland. This may be a targeting, Mike, as that tackle was made by Bobo Jones, and it was kind of helmet-to-helmet contact, so 2 penalty flags right there at the end of that play. And Jones went right off the sideline immediately, just exited off the field.
He was frustrated after that situation, so which leads, like you said, to a potential call on him.
You're already down 1 safety.
Yeah.
And Jones is the other. Highland all of a sudden here could be without their 2 starting safeties. Nope, we're wrong. The penalty was against the offense, so Jones still a little upset, but at least he's still in the game.
At least he's still in the game. That's the crucial thing, and it also helps out Highland in that situation, backing up Hutchinson. 2nd and 9 after the 5-yard penalty.
Trey Barrett just checked back in.
Nice. Good to see him back out there. Trey Barrett roaming in the free safety spot. Jones in the shotgun, 2nd and 9, 5 minutes to go in the third. Steelers scoreless contest. Ball around the 50-yard line. Jones got a nice pocket, and he's going to be gobbled up and ate for lunch in the backfield. What a sack that time. Big-time play by the Scotties. Mario Dungy.
Well, he had time, but once he took one step up in that pocket, it just completely collapsed. And a couple Scotties were there with chances to make plays. Dungy gets the sack, which I believe is his first one of the year.
Indeed so. He did 5.5 tackles for loss, but no sacks to that credit. But Mario Dungy with the sack and is able to push Hutchinson back a little further.
3rd and 12. Make a play here. Get off the field.
That ball back in Blue Dragon territory, actually now 2 on the 49. Jones with the back in the backfield, looking to pass this on 3rd down. Bringing some pressure across the middle. Great pick up there. Isaiah Gray breaks that pass up. Nice job as Shannon was the intended target over the middle again. We talked about that being a factor in the first half. Passes completed over the middle for Hutchinson. Isaiah Gray says no to that one that time, and it brings up 4th down, and Blue Dragon punting unit on.
Now, we mentioned earlier about the experience in the Hutchinson secondary and some of their sophomores, but it doesn't get much better than Tom Williams, Isaiah Gray, Barrett, and Jones back there roaming the secondary for the Scotties. They tighten things up, make a big play, and get off the field.
Gray's back to receive the punt. Right to left across your radio dial, still here for Highland, and across the screen in the Scotty Sports Network. Here comes the punt. This is going to be a short one, and Gray calls off and waves it off, and it will take a Blue Dragon bounce and go inside the 15, down at the 14. So ample yardage to cover for Highland with a long field standing in front of them, and they haven't been able to move the ball with much effectiveness at all in the contest, mustering just under 40 total yards of offense because that last offensive drive actually went backwards.
And they can't get even any field position to start a drive. It's discouraging when you take over at your own 14-yard line. Last time they had the football, they started at their own inside their own 20 as well. So backs against the wall, a lot of turf ahead.
The only 2 times they had short fields were off the 2 turnovers in the first half. Every time the offense has started otherwise, it's been deep in their own territory. Snap goes off, and there's new quarterback, Tristan Spear, an incomplete pass over to the far side, hit him right in the hands as Tyreek Williams can't hold on.
Yep, that's all on Williams. That was going to be a quick little 7-yard curl route. You'd take that on 1st down, but Kearns has struggled the last couple series, and sophomore from Highland, Tristan Spear on to try to give the Scotty offense some kind of spark. A team still with less than 90 yards total offense in this game.
Tristan has only attempted now 12 passes on the season, completed 8 of them coming into the game for 41 yards. But the incomplete pass on that last opportunity sets up 2nd and 10. Little high snap that time, and Spear hands it off, and going much of nowhere was Kevin Brown, who's returned to the fold after leaving the game with an injury earlier on. Good to see him back out there.
Yeah, it's good. He came back. Barrett came back. Everyone that's limped off the field with potential injuries have been able to return for the Scotties, but now 3rd down and 11. And again, just not many plays, not much time off the clock, and their defense doesn't even have a chance to catch their breath over there on the far sideline.
A loss of 1 on the play results in the 3rd and 11.
They have to try running more to the perimeter. We can't get anything between the tackles on the ground.
Ball on the 13. Spear in the shotgun. Lone back in the backfield and twins to the near side. One split out receiver to the far side. Spear looking to pass. Now he brings it down. Shaken out of the pocket, but he's going to be brought down in the backfield. And there's a quarterback sack at the 5-yard line. Nice play by Xavier Jackson. And he's able to wrangle in Tristan Spear at the 5. And, well, the 2nd consecutive offensive drive for the Scotties go for negative yardage. And, well, Lane Spiker has to punt from his own end zone again. And this heads up to be another opportunity for Hutchinson to get good field position.
That's great coverage by the Blue Dragons, but Spears had a year of this already. He's got to know better there, make a decision to throw the football out of bounds. You can't take a 10-yard loss and a sack clear back inside your own 5-yard line.
7th punt of the game for Spiker, and he's basically on the end part of the end zone. They bring some pressure, and a nice spike will get close to midfield, but going to be picked up around the 45. Open space, and now down the middle. Nice tackle there by Janari Smith, but able to bring him down. But a good return brings the ball inside the 35-yard line, and a great field position for the Blue Dragons of Hutchinson to open up this offensive drive.
They've had field position. The whole third quarter has been played on one side of the 50-yard line. Hasn't even got to the other side of the 50 with just over 2 minutes to go here in this third quarter. And Highland has squandered their opportunities with the wind at their back here in the third quarter. Their defense has kept them in it and kept this game scoreless. And boy, the longer it goes, Mike, the more you feel like the defense is going to have to try to find a way to score here if Highland's going to win this ball game.
Almost had an opportunity to do so with the pick 6 for Rico Hanna that he was unable to hold on to. A special teams tackle, by the way, was by Stephen Delane, and not Smith, by the way. Here's a handoff, and in the backfield, just swallowed that time. Nice little C of Highland Community College Scotties, the tsunami of tacklers, including Rico Hanna finishing off the play. But B.J. Emmons down on the seat of his pants at this point, trying to wheel himself back up, but I think he cramped up, and Emmons' helmet popped off too, so he'll have to come off the field here with the injury timeout being looked at for what appears to be cramps for the running back. But negative 2 yards on that play, and Highland's defense continues to be rough and ragged right here and tough on the run, especially. Rushing wise, it's only been 13 yards or so for Hutchinson. They've been able to get the yardage through the air, but again, have only totaled 156 yards of offense in this ball game has Hutchinson. So not, much offense at all for themselves in the grand scheme of things. But you flip it over to Highland's side, they had around 50 at halftime. That's only went backwards, unfortunately. They're under 30 yards of offense now for the Scotties here in this ball game. But we're still locked in a deadlock goose egg score, 0-0 on the board, and we've only got 2 minutes left to go in this third quarter. Emmons being helped off the field and not putting much pressure on his right leg, which is already taped up pretty heavily around the ankle and just under the knee. Emmons, their starting tailback, but like I've said, they have multiple guys that have the capacity of running out of the backfield, and Deshaun Waller will be the back in the backfield at this point. They'll go twins to the near side, tight end tight to the near side as well, and the ball comes up and snapped before Jones wanted it, and here comes penalty flags. This is going to be a false start, more than likely.
Well, hopefully Highland came across the line, but they thought the left guard flinched, and that's the reason they took off. But Hutch claiming that it was encroachment before their left guard move. Highland came into the neutral zone. And it is against Hutchinson, so there was movement there up front before Highland saw the movement and took off into the backfield. Again, this has been Hutch's biggest problem. They've had the field position, Mike. They have moved the football at times. They just keep shooting themselves in the foot. Penalties, bobbled snaps, missed handoffs.
Jones in the shotgun, 2nd and 11. Rolling out to the near side, got a man in the flat, will be caught and falling out of bounds.
It's all right, just a 5-yard gain.
Yeah, from Marcus Edwards, just his 3rd catch of the year. Pretty smaller stature guy, but
if you're Highland, you'll give up that 4-yard pass play there. It's still 3rd down and 12 yards to go, so give him those underneath routes all day long. The quarterback, Cam Jones, ran about 20 yards on his rollout to the near sideline, but wasn't for much of a gain. And here's another chance. Scotty D, 3rd and 12. Make a play and get off the field with just over a minute to play here in a scoreless third quarter.
Ball on the 35-yard line of Highland as well. Jones drops back, looks across the middle, up and caught in between traffic, but hauled in by Johnny Lumpkin, who's made big catches here in this ball game. Kendrick Caddis, Trey Barrett in on the tackle, but Lumpkin has done a pretty good job in this ball game, as that is his 2nd catch officially.
That hurts, too, because it looked like Highland had good coverage, but nobody saw the ball in time. If they would have turned and saw that, I think they might have had a chance to deflect it, if not maybe intercept it, but nobody found the ball in time, and big conversion and Hutchin business.
Instead, 1st and 10 from the 13-yard line. Waller now takes it, gets to the second level, and will be spun down by Trey Barrett. As Barrett brings Waller down after about a 3-yard gain, gets up to the 10.
Well, Scotty defense has had their backs against the wall too many times here in this game, but so far they've stood up to every challenge. And that's the end of the third. Or no, is it timeout before the end of the third quarter here?
20 seconds still to go. So
they're just going to let those last seconds come off. Play clock was shut off.
Yep, so final seconds will come off here in the third quarter, and, well, we're still deadlocked in a gridlock of 0 on the board. Hutchinson, though, threatening again as they're in the red zone once more. They'll have the ball at the 10-yard line with the Blue Dragons, and Highland's looking to, again, come up with a huge defensive stop when we start the fourth quarter here on Scotty Sports Network and 103.9 KNZA.
Attention farmers, poor drainage got your yields down? Precision Grading Design can help. With more than 8 years experience, Precision Grading Design has the experience you are looking for in site development, terrace design for drainage solutions, and any civil grading project. They also do private surveying and mapping and cater all design projects to be built using the latest GPS construction equipment, ensuring quality, accuracy, and efficiency. Contact Rocky Runke at 785-444-3702 or visit precision-grading-design.com for more information on Precision Grading Design of Highland, Kansas.
If you have heard stories about college debt and what it is doing not only to the students who borrow the money, but also to families who co-sign those loans, you may have concern about your own college future. Check out the difference it makes to attend Highland Community College before transferring to a 4-year institution. Going to Highland will save you thousands of dollars in college expense. Literally, you'll be able to start your life after college without the burden of debt that is impacting so many families. Check it out at highlandcc.edu. Highland Community College. From here, you can see anywhere.
103.9 FM, KNZA.
Quick snap here. Jones hands this one off to B.J. Emmons, who barrels his way through close to the 5-yard line on a 2nd and 7 play. Gets close to the 5 and also getting closer to a first down. They can get a first down before getting into the end zone. It's 3rd and 2 for Hutchinson here on the precipice of finding the end zone for the first time, but Highland looking to be stout once more as they have been. Forced some field goal opportunities, but ultimately unsuccessful in all of those. Here's Jones, handoff, and Emmons going nowhere. Nice stonewall. The ball comes loose, maybe. The ball came loose. It looks like Highland's saying they have it, but maybe did they blow the play? Yeah, they blow the play dead. And when the pile happened,
another field goal try. This is going to be the closest one yet.
Yeah, no gain on the play. Sets up 4th down. And here comes the field goal kicker again.
Niemeyer's got the wind at his back, but this ball's on the right hash. So he should easily be able to get the distance. Can he get the accuracy on a little chip shot 23-yarder?
Just into the fourth quarter. Will the first points be on the board? Niemeyer setting up his 4th field goal opportunity. It's blocked! Highland blocks it. They'll be able to scoop it up now on the 15-yard line. Don Williams scoops it up. He's going to try to return it. He gets some open space and will be brought down around the 32. The Scotties keep it scoreless. What a block. Highland's blocked 3 kicks this year, 2 field goals, and 1 PAT. Player down for Highland again at the 30-yard line. Is that Dom? It might be. And he is down, but he pops back up. And the Scotties get through and block that again. What a stout performance once more. Man, you couldn't have asked for a big-timer play at this juncture of this ball game. I mean, that is a massive situation to unfold for the Scotties in their favor.
You got to be talking about one of the best defensive efforts, and the best defensive team all time that the Jayhawk Conference has seen. I mean, if you're in a football game against a team that's 2-0 in the Jayhawk Conference and you have 27 total yards of offense, it's the fourth quarter of the game, and you're still tied? Man, this defense has done it all, and the offense owes them a big pat on the back. Still some confusion here. I don't think there was any.
I didn't see any penalty flags thrown.
Sideline warning on Highland, so it's just a warning, though. No penalty flag, but the next one would be.
Indeed. So, yeah, Highland, and I can understand why. Much celebration after that one. They're going to credit Lauren Young with the block, which is his second blocked kick of the year.
That came right up the middle.
Yeah, what a beaut that time. Lauren Young has been a huge player this year. Definitely going to be a guy that's going to get recruited for the next level. And the defense comes up big again on the special teams capacity there to block that opportunity.
I'm looking at 4 sophomores. Davis, Boone, Parkins, Fay on that offensive line. Come on, guys. We need a push here. It's now or never. We got to find a way to support the defensive effort today and get a W.
Third different quarterback in as well. Xavier Shepard is going to have the quarterback keeper, and he is just swallowed in the backfield. A great open field tackle in the backfield that time. Jeff Mario Brown looked like he was the guy to get in on the tackle. Also, Andy John Baptiste.
Trying everything. They brought Spear in for a series. Now they go to Sneed, who faked a handoff left and tried to run it right, but that didn't work.
Shepard unable to do the successful. He came in last week at this, the quarterback spot and had some good quarterback runs, but he didn't ever attempt the pass, and he continues to be in there. The freshman from Atlanta, Georgia, Xavier Shepard Sneed, our junior. As Shepard actually going to keep it himself. Fake the handoff to Jordan. Good block by Jordan, trying to get the edge. Stiff arm was there, but not much yardage coming. Great tackle that time. Looks like Adrian Cross.
Yeah, one-on-one tackle, and if Cross didn't make that, I think we get around the corner and get upfield for a huge gain. But again, the secondary for Highland, for Hutch, that's Adrian Cross coming up to make the play.
And Shepard, I think, is the guy down on the far sideline for Highland at this point.
Who's our fourth-string quarterback? You know that?
I'm not sure, to be honest. I would think it might be Driver. He's, of course, lined up at a couple different positions so far this year, but not at quarterback quite yet.
Well, Spear and Kearns are both healthy, and it looks like Kearns may be coming back in. And maybe, after seeing a couple other guys get an opportunity because of his struggles, maybe you're a little more motivated when you come back in. We've seen the switching of quarterbacks all the way back since week 1 of the season for Scotty, although Kearns has done a really good job the last couple of games and kind of been the main man and in control through most of the contest.
Yeah. He came into the season, of course, with Tristan Spear leading the way at the quarterback spot, expected to be the starter, and then Kyle Kearns transfers in late and doesn't get much practice before the first game, so they go with switching series between the two against Dodge City early on, and then Kyle was able to put things together and finish the game off, and he, of course, then was slated the starter the rest of the way, but struggled today, as has the offense in general. It hasn't just been your quarterback spot, but the Cards coming out, and this is a tough situation to see for Highland Community College in this situation. But yeah, I mean, they've got to find something on offense. They've tried to influx it with multiple situations. They went to Willie, they went to Kevin out of the backfield, they went to 3 different guys at quarterback. They've got to find something offensively to move the ball with some effectiveness. 12:43 left to play in the game. And, well, at least in regulation, we may need some extra time to decide it, if that comes to fruition. But right now, again, tending to the Highland Scotty on the far side, and not sure 100% that it is Shepard, but closest to the vicinity of that play was him. And
he kind of was tackled awkwardly, and man, you hate to speculate, but it sure looked like some kind of leg or knee injury that they were working with right after he went down.
Hutch lost a couple of players to some injuries so far in this ball game. Their center, Dominic Taylor, is on the sideline in a boot. I see that as well, so he's definitely not going to return and has the shoulder pads out as well and off. And I also saw one of their defensive linemen, Devontae Jest, on the training table earlier as well. He still has the shoulder pads on, but he's over on the defensive bench, and I haven't seen him in the ball game. So Highland, through the first 3 games and majority of this game, had been relatively healthy. Haven't had too many things happen, but a couple of guys go out earlier in this ball game, Justin, that were key players, and Kevin Brown and Trey Barrett especially. Both of those guys returned to the fold, but again, still tending to the player on the far side. So we're going to go ahead and slip in a 30-second timeout. You're watching on the Scotty Sports Network and listening on 103.9 KNZA as Highland is locked in a tough battle in Hutch against the Blue Dragons on 103.9 KNZA.
Attention farmers, poor drainage got your yields down? Precision Grading Design can help. With more than 8 years experience, Precision Grading Design has the experience you are looking for in site development, terrace design for drainage solutions, and any civil grading project. They also do private surveying and mapping and cater all design projects to be built using the latest GPS construction equipment, ensuring quality, accuracy, and efficiency. Contact Rocky Runke at 785-444-3702 or visit precision-grading-design.com for more information on Precision Grading Design of Highland, Kansas.
103.9 FM, KNZA.
Again, still tending to the injured player right now for Highland Community College on the far sideline. So we may take another break here as they continue to address that situation. But a serious injury, and best wishes to the injured party. Again, we believe it to be Xavier Shepard. We're going to get some confirmation on that hopefully relatively soon, as many people have converged and an ambulance has made its way to the stadium. Gurney as well, now being trotted out towards the track on the far side of the field. So looks like it will be wheeled out, and unfortunately a player will be taken out off on the stretcher in this contest for Highland. But Justin, as we look at this ball game and how it's unfolded so far, 4 field goal attempts for Hutchinson, 3 just plain missed. The other one, most recently, the closest of the 4, was blocked by Highland, and the Scotties have preserved this game to be scoreless at 0s on the board through the entirety of the first 3 quarters and the early portion of the fourth. 12:43 remaining in the game, but Scotties' offense has been non-existent.
Yeah, red zone opportunities 0 for 3 for Hutch. Highland hasn't sniffed the red zone. In fact, I don't know if they've been inside the 30-yard line of Hutchinson here today. Coming into the fourth quarter, Highland has just 27 total yards of offense on 35 plays. And on the contrary, Hutchinson with 195 total yards of offense. They've run 59 plays. And Highland was trying to create a little more offense here, going to their 3rd different quarterback of the day. But it's that quarterback, Xavier Shepard, that is still down and will be carted off the field, it looks like, into an ambulance and on to receive further medical treatment. So a tough situation, and of course not just the injury and for Shepard, but for the rest of the team to see one of your battery mates, go down like that. It can be a mental gut check too, to be able to stay focused and keep moving on and doing your job, especially when the game is tied like this with 12:43 left to go in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, and you're trying to find something, to hang your hat on for Highland at this point, and unable to do that right now. And maybe this is a rallying point for the Scotties, that they can say, hey, we've got a fallen man. Let's go out in there and get this one for Xavier, who it indeed is. We did get confirmation on Shepard being the injured party on the far sideline and now being put on the gurney to be taken off the field. So best wishes to Xavier as he'll get checked out and be taken off here. And we'll get back to the action with 12:43 remaining in the contest. But we'll slip in another timeout as we'll go with a 2-minute timeout here for the action. Thanks for tuning in on the Scotty Sports Network as you're watching live there and listening live online at mscsports.net, alongside on the radio dial 103.9 KNZA.
Highland's new precision agriculture program was designed for the farmer or related farm worker of the future. The future arrives quickly. Today's agricultural work goes beyond the field and barn to the computer, the satellite, the drone, the research lab. Aligning all these aspects precisely for the individual, field, and crop is provided by Highland's Precision Ag program. Centered in Baileyville at the College Western Center, this program can provide you with experience in understanding and applying modern farming methods. Check it out.
Attention farmers, poor drainage got your yields down? Precision Grading Design can help. With more than 8 years experience, Precision Grading Design has the experience you are looking for in site development, terrace design for drainage solutions, and any civil grading project. They also do private surveying and mapping and cater all design projects to be built using the latest GPS construction equipment, ensuring quality, accuracy, and efficiency. Contact Rocky Runke at 785-444-3702 or visit precision-grading-design.com for more information on Precision Grading Design of Highland, Kansas.
Hi, this is Diamond Dan for Diamonds by Design Jewelry Stores. Diamonds by Design is a full-service jewelry store with a variety of fine jewelry to fit every budget. Come in and let Marcia and her staff help to make your special occasion even more special. Diamonds by Design, locally owned and operated for over 15 years, and we specialize in custom design jewelry with a full-time designer in-house and computer software that lets you build your very own custom design jewelry. Come see Diamonds by Design at 21st and Wanamaker in Topeka.
Is your future secure? The Bank of Highland is your community-minded bank that accepts the responsibility of helping neighbors and friends live easier through insecure financial times, providing loans for home, auto, and agriculture, as well as standard checking and savings accounts. You can depend on your friends at the Bank of Highland to help secure your financial future. The Bank of Highland, branch of Bendina State Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender, making life better right here at home.
103.9 FM, KNZA.
Well, out of the injury timeout, Kyle Kearns comes back in at quarterback and throws an interception. As unfortunate turn of events, it's Jerry Jacobs who's had a really good game for Hutchinson in the defensive capacity at cornerback position as he intercepts it and gets, the Blue Dragons back in Scotty territory again. Highland's second turnover, if my memory serves me right now, in this contest. Turnover is basically now even in this capacity. So interception picked up, giving the Blue Dragons the possession, and Jones hands it off. Waller's now up into the third level, up to the 30-yard line, down to the 20-yard line, going to the far sideline, pushed out of bounds by Isaiah Gray, but a big-time run by Deshaun Waller. One of the best offensive plays either way today. Gets Hutchinson back into the red zone again.
Well, Highland, of course, distracted by the injury and losing one of their key players with a significant injury. And then you come back out, you throw an interception. The defense returns to the field where they've been on it through this entire game. And now gives up the biggest play that Hutchinson's had rushing the football this afternoon.
And ball inside the 20-yard line at the 18. First and 10 from the 18. Waller with the handoff again. It won't get as much this time around. Just gobbled up for a 3-yard gain. Jeremiah Hill finished him off on the play. Just short of the 15, down to the 16. So a 2-yard gain, 2nd and 8. 11:45 to go and no scores in this contest. 0 points combined between the two. Hutch has tried 4 field goals and come up empty every single time. They had opportunities. The closest one being the last time it was blocked. One back in the backfield. That's Otis Williams, I believe, now coming in. And they go twins to the near side. Jones rolling out, looking to pass, goes to the end zone, in and out of the hands. Oh, man, almost a touchdown there. Hauled in. Hunter Sims, the guy intended for the pass in the near side corner. He can't hold on.
Now, Rico Hanna was a step behind that time. It was a good thrown ball, just a simple drop that would have resulted in a touchdown.
Of course, now 3rd and 8 from the 16. Big third down looming right now for the Scotty defense again.
Penalties, bobbled snaps, missed handoffs, and now dropped balls. All things that have hurt Hutchinson themselves every time they've been in the Scotty red zone. 4th trip there today.
Lone back in the backfield, fake the handoff, play action pass, going down the middle, lobbed up, and nice play on a hit that time. Darius Johnson breaks up the catch as that was intended for Kai Lemons down the middle and right in the middle of the end zone. Trey Barrett lays the hit to Lemons, who went up at the point of attack to try to catch that, and Barrett comes in and he makes another big-time play. Trey has been all over at the safety spot today.
Yeah, perfect timing on the hit. Good job by Darius Johnson. I thought maybe Hutch would just go for it, but no, let's try a 5th field goal today. Highland blocked the last one. No pressure here, Luke Niemeyer.
33-yard field goal this time around. Niemeyer gets this one up and gets that one to go through. Well, I guess if you miss the first 4, you continue to try, and Hutchinson has stayed with their field goal kicker, Luke Niemeyer, and he gets the first points of the contest.
5th time the charm.
Yeah, 5th time the charm indeed for the Blue Dragons. 11-11 left to go on the clock, and it's 3-0 Hutch leading over Highland here on 103.9 KNZA.
Attention farmers, poor drainage got your yields down? Precision Grading Design can help. With more than 8 years experience, Precision Grading Design has the experience you are looking for in site development, terrace design for drainage solutions, and any civil grading project. They also do private surveying and mapping and cater all design projects to be built using the latest GPS construction equipment, ensuring quality, accuracy, and efficiency. Contact Rocky Runke at 785-444-3702 or visit precision-grading-design.com for more information on Precision Grading Design of Highland, Kansas.
103.9 FM, KNZA.
First points of the ball game coming just a few moments ago as Luke Niemeyer, his 5th opportunity to kick a field goal, finally made one good for the Blue Dragons. This one of a 33-yard variety. He missed the first 4. 3 just plain misses and 1 blocked. Highland offensively has struggled mightily to move the ball. They've tried 3 different quarterbacks. They've tried several different things so far in this showdown, but unsuccessful at all of them at this juncture. Need a spark, and maybe special teams can provide it. Scotty's now down 3-0 with 11:11 left to go. Still ample time to do something here, and this will be over the head of Ronnie Jameson into the end zone. Touchback, and the ball will come out to the 20 for the Scotties, who will go left to right across your screen on the Scotty Sports Network and across your radio dial left to right here in the 4th quarter for Highland.
Tristan Spear going to quarterback, so we've got another change. Spear threw an interception and took a sack at the 5-yard line, and the only possession he played in this game, but we'll see what he can do as Kyle Kearns threw an interception his last time out on the field as well. The Scotty turnovers have caught up to him now as they trail, and the offense has to do something despite just 27 total yards of offense in this game.
Spear will go under center with Jameson split out to the near side. Here's a handoff straight up the gut, and they'll try to push ahead for a few more yards, but not much doing with the first down run for Highland. Gain of maybe just a couple on Willie Jordan's tote as we go under 11 to play in the contest. Scotty's actually with negative rushing yards in the game.
Yeah, negative 17 rushing yards.
Albert Howard, the split out wide receiver to the near side. Jameson in the slot to the far. Spear remains in at quarterback here for this offensive drive. One lone back in the backfield directly behind Spear. Here's the handoff again to Jordan. Jordan gets up to the second level, will spin ahead, get close to the first down. He should have it. And Jordan, excited to get the first down, throws up the first down arm, and we'll see if that little momentum and shot in the arm will shoot Highland to a offensive drive for themselves.
Well, again, all starts up front. That time running behind the most experienced and all-conference lineman, Mike Davis, Torrey Boone. Those guys trying to help pave a little way, give Highland a little bit of breathing room. Spear now back in the gun.
Load the line. They'll move 2 tight ends over to the far side now with the lone back with Spear in the backfield. Receivers split out to each side as well as we've gone under 10 minutes to go. Spear hands it off. Jordan lowers his head and barrels his way through on that left side of the offensive line again. And it gets maybe 1 to 2 yards there that time.
We've seen that play a couple times. They shift a couple extra guys to the left side of the formation and try to run behind the strength over there on the left side, but not a huge gain. They need a little bit more here on 2nd down and 8.
Highland goes with Spear again in the shotgun. Jameson split out to the near side. Jordan the back. Again, they motion the 2 tight ends to the far side of the formation yet again, just like last time. Now back, it's the fullback, Delaney over to the far side. He goes back. Jordan trying to get some space on the far side. He's got some open space. He gets to the first down, past midfield, cuts back. Actually, steps out of bounds just after midfield. He had the cutback lane to get maybe 5 to 7 more yards, it looked like, but instead it'll be ruled out of bounds at the 48 of Hutchinson. It is a first down too, but a good open lane for Jordan to stretch it out on the far side of the formation. Stephen Delane, the fullback, opening up a little bit of space and just enough sliver of daylight for Jordan to bust up at least the first down. Looked like it was going to go for bigger yardage, but chain mover it was.
Yeah, Quinn Head had his jersey, and Jordan kept churning away from him upfield.
As here's a handoff to Kevin Brown. one who just shoots straight up the middle and gets maybe 1 yard. Actually, that was Dede Hall, excuse me. Dede got a couple carries, 5 of them last week against Iowa Central, and busted off 27 yards. Had a couple of showcases on some good runs. Trying, to get anybody involved here for Highland right now offensively.
Everything on the ground. Willie Jordan 7 yards. Willie Jordan 2 yards. Willie Jordan 15 yards. Deontay Hall with 1.
And Hall again with it. Now he's going to go to the second level, and he lowers the boom, and he's going to barrel his way to the first down. Man, what a big-time run there. Lowers the shoulder and runs over the defender. First down run by Dede.
And look at the Scotty sideline, Mike. Not only there's some momentum on the field, but the rest of the team has got behind him now. They're all hopping up and down, high-fiving. They feel like the offense is finally doing something here for one of the few times today. This is the first drive they've had with multiple first downs in this game.
No doubt.
And needing points, down 3-0.
7:45 to go here in the contest, down 3. Scotty's in Blue Dragon territory at the 37. Starting to be on the move.
What's the problem?
Hold up at the moment.
Substitution for Hutch, but the referee wouldn't let Highland snap it, and the play clock ran out, but that's not Highland's fault. They wouldn't. Highland was on the ball ready to snap it, but they couldn't. Does the Scotties really have to use a timeout there to avoid a delay of game?
What they showed.
Hutch was making a substitution. We had a guy, referee, standing over the football as we couldn't snap it.
Yeah, Highland calls the timeout, but yeah, you're right. I mean, if you make a substitution, obviously your opponent gets the chance to make a substitution in their own right. But so I understand the holdup there. But Hutch took a little while to do so and get the guy off the field, and then Highland has to call the timeout. And the Scotties will have the clock at 7:28 in their favor right now here on there with the 1st and 10 on the 37-yard line, starting to be on the move. But this offensive drive, 6 plays and 38 yards right now, all on the ground for the Scotties. Willie Jordan and Dede Hall carrying the load this one. Tristan Spear handing it off to him at the quarterback spot.
Hate to have to burn your first time out of the second half in the fourth quarter, down 3-0, but when you're on the drive like this, Mike, you can't afford a silly penalty in 5 yards to kind of break that momentum. So instead, Highland takes a timeout, at least keeps momentum. We'll see if they can keep marching downfield.
1st and 10 from the 37. Spear in the shotgun. One lone back in the backfield. Man in motion is Jamison. Here's the option pitch to Jamison. Jamison's got 2 guys, and what a great open field tackle. Story Jackson, one of the best players on the defensive side of the ball, probably in the Jayhawk Conference, from what I've been told. And Jackson comes up with a great open field tackle of Jamison for a loss on the play of a couple yards.
I like the play call. Mix it up, bring some motion, try to get the ball into the hands of a playmaker, but he can't do much when Story Jackson comes up and makes an open field tackle like that, 2 yards behind the line of scrimmage.
Jamison will split out to the near side. Howard split out to the far side. Tight end tight to the near side with the fullback as well. They both go in motion again to the far side of the formation. Spear in the shotgun, lone back in the backfield. We're at 6:40 and counting here in the contest. Here's the handoff to Jordan. Jordan waits for some space, lunges forward, past the 35. Actually, they'll mark him down at the 35.
Only about 4 yards, so a 3rd and 8 play coming up. Certainly not in field goal range. You might be in 4-down territory. If you could get 3 or 4 yards here, you might be close enough to consider going for it on 4th down. Possession's going to be pretty limited from here on out, down 3-0 as we approach the 6-minute mark here in the 4th quarter.
Yeah, you need some more yards for a sizable field goal try, and at that point, you might as well try to get the first down.
Scotty's going into the win, still haven't attempted a pass on this drive. 8 plays, 40 yards they've covered.
Spear in the shotgun, looking to pass here. He's got Jamison, but he throws it over his head, an incomplete pass. In coverage, Michael Witherspoon. And Highland's offense looks like they're going to stay out on the field.
I think they got to go for it here. If you punt, you may only gain about 20 yards, and a field goal from here is like a 52-yarder, not to mention they're going into the wind. So I don't know. Unless you want to try to pin them deep inside the 10, your defense has played great, but because your defense has played great, you're fine to give Hutch the ball here at the 35. Take a chance, see if you can get 8 yards here on 4th down.
Sullivan did kick a 50-yard field goal in practice, but it going with the wind earlier when I saw him. So they're going to go for it here on 4th down, 4th and 8. Twin receivers at the far side, and there's movement. And then
left guard and left tackle both rocking backwards.
And the Jayhawk Conference, all conference guys, Mike Davis and Torrey Boone on the move. And well, with that, the game plan might change. This is going to be a false start on Highland, and 5-yard penalty backs them up, so it'd be 4th and 13. And punting unit now will come on, and the Scotties will just try to pin Highland back. As Lane Spiker will have to try to put together a nice little punt.
Should be able to get the ball back. Key is to try to pin him here inside the 20. Spiker has been a busy man here today punting the football. Spiker's already
7 or 8 punts.
Yeah, 7 punts, averaging 46 yards per boot.
And timeout on the field.
Would you consider a fake here? I don't know. You need, after that darn penalty, you're 4th and 13, double sticks here. Not a good situation to try anything tricky, probably.
With your punter is going to be back at midfield in this situation too. So if you don't convert and you have a mistake, something happen, you could lose some yardage there and set up Hutchinson in a better position for field position. We're under 6 minutes, just under that. 5:56 left to go, and Hutch leads at 3-0 over Highland. Scotty's looking to try to pin the Blue Dragons deep in their own territory and then get the ball back for themselves for another try on the offensive end. That was the best offensive drive of the game for the Scotties, but ultimately have that false start penalty that hurts them in the contest and spoils that offensive drive before it really firmly gets going. And of course, the ball now spotted at the 40-yard line, set to be punted away by Highland. And Lane Spiker will try to pin the Blue Dragons deep in their own territory. Lane's kick here.
Caught up in the wind.
Right around there. It's going to take a Blue Dragon bounce and actually bounce around the 22-yard line. So
can't pin him in the 20. That ball was too high. Got caught up in the wind, and from the 40 to the 22, that's only an 18-yard punt.
Gonna hurt the average right
Actually,
there.
They mark it at the 25. Sorry, 15-yard punt. So you're trying to pin him inside the 20 there, play field position, but unable to get it done. And now the defense with a couple timeouts as well. 5:46 to go. See if they can make some stops. You would think Hutch would play pretty conservative here and probably keep the football on the ground.
They like to run the ball in general anyways, but get a first down or two, turn off some clock for Hutchinson, I'm sure is what's on the docket. Highland looking for a quick 3-and-out. Here's the handoff up the middle, and a nice job by a cast of characters, including Jakeem Green with the initial hit on the ball carrier. As Desmond Jackson brings it up for about a 2-yard gain.
How about some of these numbers today? Trey Barnett, 11 tackles. Jeremiah Hill, 9 tackles. Green, 9 tackles. Lauren Young, 8 tackles. Kendrick Caddis, 7. Rico Hannes, 7. Scotties have also made 4 tackles for a loss already today and have a couple quarterback sacks.
Need another big tackle as well here. 2nd and 8 play. Jones in the shotgun. Lone back of the backfield. Got twins to the far side. We'll hand this off to Jackson, who's stretch play over to the far side. Great rally to the ball, and there'll be loss on the play. What a play by Isaiah Gray to finish him off. Rico Hanna stretches him out. Gray says we'll finish it off on the play, and a loss on the play of 3 yards. That's up 3rd and 11. Big 3rd down for the Scotties to force a 4th down and a punt. 4:40 and counting here to go in the ball game. Came down to a late score last year after a furious comeback by Hutchinson. Highland would get a score with 2:30 left to go in the game last year to win, 26-21. Not as many points this year, only 3 on the board. It's 3-0 Hutch right now with 4:20 to go. Jones rolls out to the near side, looking to go with the pass. He's got his man. They're trying to bring him down short of the first down, but he's going to get it right at the chains. Dom Williams pushes him out of bounds, but it's Johnny Lumpkin who's had some big catches today for Hutchinson, and he gets just enough, 11 yards, to get the first down.
And 3rd and 11 play. That guy's been a killer for us today. Johnny Lumpkin has had a heck of an offensive game receiving for Hutchinson.
That was his 3rd catch of the day, so 44 yards.
3 for 49, yeah. 7 different receivers have caught a pass for Hutch.
Jones takes the snap, handoff to Waller. Waller quickly remedied down onto the ground and wrapped up by Jeremiah Hill.
Problem is, though, with the first down conversion there, now they're going to run a couple more minutes off the clock. Highland may even have to start thinking about a timeout or two here if they make another stop as the clock winds at 3:35 to go in this fourth quarter.
And you get a stop here, you may think timeout on third down is 3:30 and counting, and Hutch all huddled up, continuing to dwindle the play clock, which sits at 16 right now. They can stand around for a few more seconds and whittle this clock close down to 3 minutes. Jones in the shotgun, watching the clock continue to dwindle. High snap, it's up for grabs, picked up by Waller. He's inside the 20-yard line, just trying to get some positive yards now, and he'll go out of bounds. That will stop the clock, but Hutch gets back on it after the high snap goes over Jones's head. Waller tracks it down to the backfield, but he'll lose yardage in this situation, go all the way back to the 25-yard line for a 10-yard loss.
And the icing on the cake, Mike, he ran out of bounds. Stop the clock. Highland doesn't have to take a timeout. It stopped at 3:04 because the running back went out of bounds. That's a huge break for the Scotties. Not only the snap, but the fact that the running back went out of bounds saves them about 30 seconds here of time in this game.
3rd and 20 right now here, too. Well, the clock's, though, continuing to go. It's 2:50.
He ran out of bounds. Yeah, they had to stop for quite a while. Why'd they start it again?
I don't know. It's
play clock at 2, 1, 0. That's a delay of game.
But the clock shouldn't have started in that situation. He went clearly out of bounds. There was no doubt about that.
Coach Arnold talking to one of the linesmen over there on the far side. Might be about that. Another 5-yard penalty. Hutch really backed up, and I'd be surprised if...
That'll be 3rd and 25. With the ball on the 20. Yeah, that 20 seconds or so has been basically wasted in that scenario almost. With the guy going out of bounds on the play, that's pretty significant time. Jones going to go under center here on the 3rd and 25 play. It's Highland looking to stop him to force 4th down. Jones dancing around, goes to the near side, just going to be flushed out of the pocket and will step out of bounds.
He tried to stay in bounds.
He tried to stay in bounds, but 2:32 and counting, and it does stop this time, the clock.
And the Scotties keep both of their timeouts as they get set to have the football back in their possession. So those 2 timeouts could help, but more importantly, they need to just move the football.
No doubt. We think that there should have been a little more time for the Scotties, but moot point at this point. We're not going to get it back. So 2:32 to work with. They do have, does Scotties call a timeout? Yeah, they do. Scotties use a timeout here and to set up things. I don't know. I guess do you try for a block in this situation on the punt?
I say set up a return because the last thing you want is some roughing the punter penalty on a 4th down and 24. Some kind of penalty that would give him an automatic first down would basically seal the game.
True. So, yeah, maybe best served to obviously set up Isaiah Gray, the normal punt returner, for a potential punt return. He had a 44-yard punt return in Week 1 against Dodge City. Can he do something like that this time around? He's only averaging about 15 yards per return. He has not returned one today.
Well, Donovan Gagan should be able to get some help from the wind here and get a pretty good punt off. The problem is he's standing at his own 5-yard line.
Isaiah Gray back deep inside his own 35. 2:32 to go. Highland down by a field goal, 3-0. As we are in crunch time of this showdown between the two. Scoreless until the 4th. They bring a little pressure, but here comes the kick. Isaiah Gray will field it at the 35. Open. He's going to cut back towards the middle. He's got some space, and he gets away. Leapfrogs a couple guys. He's up to the 40-yard line. Now still got some space. He cuts back, and he's ankle tackle and tripped down around the 25-yard line. Yep. What a big return that time by Isaiah Gray. Maybe that's the shot in the arm the Scotties need, as it was just an ankle tackle to save potentially what could have been a punt return score.
And you can tell that's what they set up was the return, and they had it set up to the far side. That was a great return. That wasn't an easy ball to even field and catch in the air. It was kind of an end-over-end punt. And a great job by Gray to field it at the 35 of Highland, and he takes it all the way to the 35-yard line of Hutch. Was there a penalty flag somewhere?
I'm not sure.
Two penalties. Both fouls on Highland. Oh, right over here in front of the Hutch sideline at the 50-yard line.
Wow.
Dang it.
At the worst possible spots, too. I mean, if you lose at the end of the run, you get back towards midfield. But no, it was towards the start of the return. And so instead of being in Hutch territory, it's going to be at the 30-yard line of Highland.
Yeah, that's a 15-yard penalty, but instead of getting the ball at the 30-yard line, I mean, it's in essence about a 40-yard penalty in terms of field position and where this drive begins for Highland. Now it's just one timeout, down 3-0, 2:18 to go in the game.
Spear back in at quarterback. Willie Jordan's the back in the backfield. Twin receivers to the far side. One lone receiver to the near side is Howard. 2:18 to work with for Highland, but they got a lot of ground to cover. And Willis can't hold on to the throw. It's on his back shoulder, but Trey can't hold on to that. It would have been a 5-yard completion if completed, but incomplete at that, and the clock stops at 2:14, 2nd and 10 for Highland.
Yeah, they're going into the wind, so it's going to be tough to take any deep shots downfield, throwing it into that 15, 20-mile-an-hour wind. But you can't, with the time that's left, just settle for some 5-yard passes either. At some point, need to try to find something up the seam or have a receiver be able to break a tackle or two.
2nd and 10. Spear in the shotgun. Loaned back to his hip pocket on the right side is Jordan. Goes out to the flat. Spear flushed out of the pocket. Now a sling pass there. It's going to be caught on the shoulder by Jamison. Tightrope walks the sideline. Oh, he steps out. Shy of midfield. He stops out around actually the 45-yard line. Man, he was looking like he was trying to be a tightrope walking guy on the near sideline and unable to tippy-toe his way around it. He steps out of bounds. It does stop the clock and gets the first down, but Highland's got to hurry up. Jamison now trying to get back. Actually, the clock continues.
Yeah, he was going to have another 15 or so yards if he didn't step out of bounds there.
Minute 55 and counting. Spear takes the snap. Looking to pass this. He's got a quick pass to Albert Howard, who will go out of bounds.
That's good. About 6 yards and stops the clock. 1:48. Chance to huddle up now if you want. Catch your breath. Call a couple plays as Spear directs the hurry-up offense for the Scotties. A field goal might be kind of tough into the wind that would tie it. Boy, touchdown here, and you could almost sneak out of here somehow with a win.
You got to get significant yardage still because you're at midfield right now. 2nd and 4 standing at this point for Highland. Spear in the shotgun. Twin receivers to the far side. The slot man is Jamison. Split out to the far sideline is Willis. Howard to the near side. Jordan in the backfield as the back. Spear calls for the snap. Looking to sling this again. He's got his man. It's going to be quickly a couple yards. Dink and dunk right there, that situation. Just a couple ticks come off the clock as the pass was hauled in. But going out of bounds, Driver was able to hold that in.
Yeah, gain of about 3, but it only took about 4 seconds off the clock. So there could be worse scenarios. This is 3rd down and 1.
3rd and 1. He would like to get the first down in that situation, but hey, you're going to go for it on 4th down for sure. Quick pass that time to Jamison. He'll be brought down in bounds.
But the clock stopped for the first down.
Howard catches that, but the clock does stop for the first down momentarily, so they'll hurry to the line with a minute 40 to go. Down 3-0 Highland is. Spear calling out the play. Hurry up offense for the Scotties on the drive. They're in Blue Dragon territory at the 41. Spear in the shotgun. A few ticks coming off the clock here. He takes the snap. Looking to the near side again. Pass at the feet of Jordan, but a penalty flag comes flying in as the play finishes off. That will stop the clock here at a minute 30.
This is a big penalty. If it's against Hutch, it could move Highland pretty close to field position, and it looks to be against the Blue Dragons. Maybe a defensive hold?
Yeah, distinct feeling it is.
Ooh, personal foul, hands to the face. That's 15 yards, and the Scotties might be in potential tying field goal range. Now looking for a touchdown to get the win. 1:31 to go.
A lot of time left. A minute 31 with this big penalty. The ball moves up to the 26-yard line, 1st and 10. Yeah, Hutch was banging their helmets after that penalty flag came out, so I figured it might be on them, and well, it was the biggest variety you can get in that type of situation.
Tristan's got to be smart. You can't take a sack here. You can't throw an interception. You got to be smart. An incompletion is not a horrible scenario here.
Jordan moves from the right side to the left side on the hip pocket of Spear. Spear calling out some plays. Now he wants Jordan moved back to his right hip pocket. Twin receivers to the far side. Tristan takes the snap, looking for a quick pass. Now he's going to pull it down. He's going to run. He's going to get up to the 20-yard line. Good solid run by Tristan Spear. He took what the defense gave him, and that was straight up the gut, opening things up as Hutch took away the pass, and he runs for a 7-yard gain. Minute 15, and the clock continues to churn. Ball just inside the 20 at the 19. 2nd and 3. Spear in the shotgun. Jordan to his hip pocket on the right. Spear looks to pass. He's got his man, and it's going to be caught, hauled in. And
should be a first down.
Yeah, it should be a first down. Tariq Williams hauls that in at the 15-yard line, and I think Highland
got a first down.
Yeah, they're going to rush
the clock
it here.
at 101.
101. Now the clock will, now there's a whistle.
Timeout.
Hutch is going to call a timeout. Want to corral the troops.
This is like a basketball momentum stopping timeout as Highland has moved efficiently with Tristan Spear. It's been all short passes. We've seen some quick little down and outs, some quick little screens. We've seen some curl routes, but everything has really worked. Spear's been right on target. The short passes, he just ran for 7 yards, and Highland is in business. I mean, from where they're at right now, it would be only about a 33-yard field goal. Now, it is into the wind, so they're not just going to settle for that, but they got a first down here and still 58 seconds to go, and the Scotties still have their timeout. They've not had to use it on this down. They've done a great job getting out of bounds on catches on the sideline and hurrying up, and they've got first downs that have stopped the clock as well. Very well managed by Tristan Spear and the Scotty offense with their best drive of the day, maybe saving the best for last, and down 3-0. They need it here in the fourth quarter.
The wind's whirling out of the south-southeast about 21 miles an hour here in Hutch.
Be a tough kick.
Warm day as well, too, so that doesn't probably help the flight pattern of the ball on kicks. Clock did push back to 101. It was at 58 seconds a moment ago. They put a few ticks back on the clock here as Highland has the possession. Ball at the 15 at 1st and 10. They don't need to get into the end zone for another first down, but they do need to get into the end zone to try to win this ball game.
You got to take care of the football. If you have to, throw it away. No sacks, no interceptions. Take care of the football, priority number one.
No doubt about that. Spear at the quarterback, leading the way. Hands this off to Jordan, and Jordan is swallowed. Brought down by Humphrey around the 16. Loss of 1. And 55 seconds down now to 50. Clock continues to churn.
First time they've been in the red zone today.
Yeah, first time in the first trip to the red zone. Will it be a score in the red zone for the Scotties? Down to 40 seconds. Spear takes the snap on 2nd down. Lobs this up, looking for Howard, and it sails over his head. Good coverage over there on the near side by Michael Witherspoon. Incomplete pass stops the clock at 34 seconds, and also it's now 3rd down.
Well, they took a shot. It was one-on-one coverage, but Howard really didn't get turned and didn't have much of a chance to make the play anyway with good coverage there by Hutchinson. So you got one more chance. If you don't get this, you're trying a game-tying field goal. So you want to try to get the sticks here. I don't know if moving 4, 5, 6 yards closer is going to help your field goal unit all that much. You're looking at needing 10, 11 yards here. You got to get to the 5 for a first down.
Yeah, 11 yards needed to get the first down. At the 5-yard line, indeed, is where they need to be for the Scotties to keep this drive alive and keep it rolling. They're going to go to Jordan, though, to the near side. He stretched plays. He's going to have the 10, trying to shake it. He lunges forward, close to the 5. Where will they mark him?
He's got a first down at the 4,
he's got the first down at the 4. 27 seconds to go, and Jordan gets the pass in the flat. Great play. Get the guy in space. Willie Jordan made the play, and that's why he is one of the clutch guys and a great player and team captain for this Scotty team.
He made a man miss, so now he got the ball at the 4-yard line. Hutch calls another timeout on defense, but it's first down. So you basically have 3 chances here to get in the end zone.
With the timeout.
With the timeout, yeah, they can even run the football. So Coach Aaron Arnold has some options here, and man, as Tristan Spear and the Highland Scotties looked good on offense on this drive. Nothing fancy, Mike, a bunch of short passes, but the receivers have made the catches. Spears put it right where it needed to be. Short passes, and then they get a broken tackle there, just what they needed by Willie Jordan to get him here in scoring position.
Jordan with a great play there, but Spears made the heady plays at the quarterback spot, short passes, and guys getting out of bounds to preserve timeouts, moving the ball across midfield with a couple of those big plays. They've covered now 66 yards in 10 plays as well in a minute 14. 27 seconds to go. Scotty's down 3-0 to Hutchinson on the road, looking to sneak away with the victory. First and goal from the 4 with under 30 seconds remaining. One timeout remaining. Hutch has no timeouts left on their side after calling the timeout here. Big run by Willie Jordan of 12 yards to get the first down and set up this first and goal situation for Highland from the 4.
They have more yards on this drive than they had the entire game coming into this possession. And it's only taken them a minute 15 to go from their own 30-yard line to the Hutchinson 4.
Jordan's the back in the backfield behind Spear. Jamison, the split receiver to the near side. Willis to the far. They move the fullback and tight end to the far side of the formation. Delane now back in motion to the near side. High snap. Going to be hand off to Jordan. Jordan, oh man, he is going backwards. Big time play by Jeff Mario Brown, and Jordan will lose yardage on the play. Moved backwards to the 8-yard line. So a loss of 4. Spear will come up and spike it with 13 seconds to go.
So now you got one shot at the end zone to try to win this game, and if you don't get it, hopefully you get a game-tying field goal to push it to OT. Those are the things Highland's looking at. You would have liked to run a play there, Mike, but the problem is if you run a play there, you're probably down to 6-7 seconds, and do you even have a chance to run one on third down before you have to kick the field goal? So I think that was a good decision to spike it. They still have a timeout, too, so they could run the football here. Even if they pass it and don't get in, they can call a timeout and set up the field goal. Touchdown would win it.
8 yards needed to get into the end zone after the 4-yard loss. Spear in the shotgun. Jordan the back of the backfield. Fullback and tight end now in motion. Jamison split receiver to the near side. Willis to the far side. Spear adjusting the play, giving it to his running back, Willie Jordan. Now he calls for the snap. Looking to pass. Spear got the man, and that will be broken up. Batted down. Batted down there. He was looking for Jamison on a slant pattern. Instead, it's just a batted down ball. 9 seconds to go, but it's 4th and goal from the 8, and this will either tie this contest or send it to Hutch for the victory.
A lot of pressure here on Solomon. Hutch has used all their timeouts, so they can't try to ice the kicker. This is going to be only about a 25-yard field goal try.
William Solomon with the wind in his face, set to kick this up.
Straight on.
And straight dead here, looking to put it right through the uprights. Missed a field goal earlier today, puts one up, and he's going to put it through. The Scotties get the field goal to tie it at 3 with 5 seconds to go in regulation.
Well, you'll take it, right? I mean, as bad as the offense has been today, they put together that drive, 14 plays, 62 yards in 2 minutes and 7 seconds when they were down 3-0 here in the fourth quarter. You get down to the 4 and have first down, and you'd like to try to punch it in. You score a touchdown there, and you sneak home. You got a victory here maybe today that, at least offensively, you probably didn't deserve. Now you at least like the way that the defense has played, Mike, and head for overtime as long as you can cover this kick. Probably some kind of a squib kick here. I don't imagine Highland will kick this one deep with 5 seconds remaining.
Yeah, you wouldn't think so. You wouldn't want a potential big play to happen, but 14 plays, 62 yards, like you said, that's by far easily actually doubled up what they had at that point as far as yardage goes on just that one offensive drive, and the Scotties get on the board finally as Solo is 1 for 2 now in the field goal capacity, and William Solomon nets the field goal of 25 yards. Now 6 for 7 on the season. Had that one go off the crossbar from 47 yards earlier as well. Here's a kick. It's short, but it's going to be fielded around the 20. Actually take a bounce before picked up by Waller. And the final ticks will come off. Actually, 2 seconds still left. I thought maybe all the ticks would come off, but they do get him down at the 22-yard line with 2 seconds to go in regulation. I don't know if Hutch would, air it out, try it for something crazy,
Doubt
or
it. They have the wind.
Play for the overtime.
They're at home.
Yeah, they're at home, but
probably a knee. It looks like.
Looks like they're. Everybody's huddled in, close and tight. Jones looks like he's pretty content with obviously kneeling this one down, and will do so. Final ticks come off the clock in regulation, and we need overtime for the first time for Scotties this season to decide this ball game. No points scored for the first 3 quarters, and a pair of field goals. That's all scored in the fourth, with Highland getting theirs with only 5 seconds remaining in regulation. We're going to go to overtime. We'll be back after this 1-minute timeout. You're watching on the Scotty Sports Network and listening on 103.9 KNZA.
Highland Community College Athletic Director Tyler Norman is excited for the upcoming year. Based on the success of his first year as Highland AD, he's ready to see what the Scotties do this year. Last year, 8 of the 10 Highland Community College teams finished inside the top 20 of the NJCAA national rankings and earned a numerous team and individual honors. That can be viewed on the college's athletic website, ScottyAthletics.com. Norman invites you to join him in what promises to be an exciting year as the Scotties compete with the best in the country in the Kansas Jayhawk Community College Conference. Highland Community College, check it out.
Attention farmers, poor drainage got your yields down? Precision Grading Design can help. With more than 8 years experience, Precision Grading Design has the experience you are looking for in site development, terrace design for drainage solutions, and any civil grading project. They also do private surveying and mapping and cater all design projects to be built using the latest GPS construction equipment, ensuring quality, accuracy, and efficiency. Contact Rocky Runke at 785-444-3702 or visit precision-grading-design.com for more information on Precision Grading Design of Highland, Kansas.
103.9 FM, KNZA.
Well, we can't decide it in regulation. Battle of the defense, struggles on offense for both sides of the ball, and we head to overtime in Hutchinson. Thanks for tuning in and watching live and listening on the Scotty Sports Network today, and also on KNZA 103.9 FM. Mike Smith alongside Justin Fluke, Kurt Kilman back at the studio. Of course, the rest of the casting characters join us as well to get this broadcast underway, and we will head to overtime here, Justin. Highland's got momentum, though, in their favor. I mean, their best offensive drive, hands down, to get that field goal that ultimately tied it to get to this point. But, amassed 14 plays and 62 yards to get over the century mark for total yards of offense in this contest, as Hutch has outgained them 223 to 113. Both teams have turned the ball over. That's about a moot point at this point as far as even in that capacity, and it's even on the scoreboard at 3-3 as we go to overtime.
Well, both teams have had some opportunities, a lot more of them for Hutchinson, who missed 3 field goals and had another one blocked. They have had 4 trips inside the red zone here today. Highland's only had 1. It was that final one of regulation. They had to settle for a field goal. You thought maybe they had a chance to punch it in, getting to the 4-yard line there, where a touchdown would have won it. Had first down and goal to go at the 4 after a nice reception and a broken tackle by Willie Jordan to set up the scoring position, but Scotties could not cash in and settle for a field goal. They missed a field goal, remember, earlier in this contest from 47 yards, one that barely hit the crossbar off the foot of Will Solomon, but Solomon with the pressure ties it with 5 seconds remaining, getting the field goal, and now we'll see which team can perform the best here in overtime. It's not about moving the ball clear up and down the field. It's just about which offense or defense can hold their ground and execute, and we'll see, too, do the two teams both play with the wind or against the wind? I assume maybe both teams would play with the wind if they need to settle this with field goal kicking. You feel like Highland kind of has an advantage there, Mike, and certainly with the way that the Hutch kicker Niemeyer's already missed 3 and had 1 block today. Yeah, confidence, maybe lacking for Niemeyer, though he did make the last one he did kick, but as you mentioned, missing 3 others and getting 1 blocked, and, well, we'll see what unfolds here for the overtime. So one team will pick ball or which goal, offense or defense, one team decides, and which end of the field the other team decides. Both teams, of course, will have an opportunity on offense here in this overtime period. Tristan Spear out there for Highland as the Scotty representative. Humphrey and also Victoria out for Hutchinson as the representatives for the Blue Dragons for the coin toss for the OT period. Well, you like Highland's defense, don't you, in an overtime period? I mean, the way they've played today, the way they've played this season, man, you got to make 3 or 4 plays. You like their chances to do that here in overtime. The offense just has to find a way to score. Hutch won the toss and elected to play defense. So they say, let's see if Highland can score first. The advantage of that is if Highland doesn't score, you could kick a field goal to win. If Highland kicks a field goal, then you know you need a touchdown to win or a field goal to tie. Yeah, so pretty typical there that Hutch would choose to play defense first. And if you're the Scotties here, you want to put some pressure on him and, of course, try to find your way into the end zone from the 25-yard line.
Yeah, most of those times, obviously, if you win it in the college game of overtime, you're going to probably do that situation, how it unfolds here for Hutch to go on the defensive side and capacity of the ball. Ball will be set up on the 25-yard line, going with the wind.
Yep, both teams go with the wind.
So we'll go right to left across your radio dial and the screen if you're watching on the Scotty Sports Network. Thanks for tuning in here as well on 103.9 KNZA and MSCSports.net. Tristan Spear back at the helm. He orchestrated that 14-play drive, 62 yards that resulted in the game-tying field goal. Willie Jordan's the back in the backfield. Receivers split out to each side. First and 10 from the 25 as we start overtime. Jordan takes the handoff, bounces around. He's got some open space now to the near side, up down to the 20, down to the 15. Barrels his way through a defender and close to about the 10-yard line.
It's going to be a first down.
Now Willie Jordan lowered the shoulder and lowered the boom as well on Michael Witherspoon. They're going to mark him actually back at the 13, so apparently he may have stepped out of bounds at that point. First down is garnered, though.
Great improvising, though. That was a play designed to go right up the middle. He kind of took the handoff, hit a wall, and then bounced it clear around the near sideline for a gain of 12 yards. It's first down here again for the Scotties.
Yep, first and 10 from the 13. Spear looking at his wristband for the play. Jordan, all right, behind him now in the backfield. Tight end and fullback motion over to the far side of the formation. Now Delane comes back to the near side. Slips, Delane does. Jordan gets a little block ahead from him, and he'll stumble ahead just shy of the 10. Gain of about 2 for Willie on the carry on first down.
Almost kind of ran over his own blocker right there, but
now Stephen Delane got upended, and thus Jordan's pathway was kind of riddled with bodies in the way. So that's why just a minimal gain instead of maybe 4 or 5 yard gain that he could have had potentially.
Spear now in this game is 7 of 13 for 43 yards passing.
Tristan will go under center now here with the traditional fullback in the backfield and Jordan as well. And now Spear hands it off to Willie. Willie again goes straight up the gut, going nowhere. May get a yard, actually up to the 10. So that is going to set up 3rd and 7. Don't need to get in to the end zone here. It's not a goal-to-go situation. You can get a first down. That would be at the 4-yard line, basically.
Looked like maybe Jordan had an opportunity to bounce that one out again if he wanted to. Hutchinson's really stuffing up things between the tackles, but there might be an opportunity there if the running backs can get to the perimeter.
3rd and 7. You got to get to the 3-yard line, for the first down. Spear will go in the shotgun. Jordan in the backfield. He's got the fullback to his right hip pocket, does Spear. And Stephen Delane. Snap, Spear going to roll out, actually. Good block there that time. He's got an open man for a moment. Now he's got it in the corner, and it's going to be caught. Touchdown as Ronnie Jameson hauls it in. And the Scotties, on their first offensive drive of the first OT, punch it into the end zone.
What a good job by Spear. He rolled out, bought himself all kinds of time. He had one receiver wide open here in the near end zone. He didn't see him, and he was rolling to the right. That was going to be a hard throw. So he waited another second or two, and Ronnie Jameson broke open behind the defender. A great catch and throw by Spear, and Jameson, the Scotties' first touchdown of the day, first lead of the day here in overtime.
Solomon in to kick the PAT, puts it up, and a line drive that was good. It didn't look pretty, but William was able to bit the one through the uprights, and, well, there's 7 on the board. First offensive drive, first OT we are in, and Highland, of course, had to start off on offense, Justin. Now the defense, something that has been huge all day. Here's a big prime time spot here in OT for the defense to get rolling. And Dom Williams is jacked. I see him. He's ready to roll. If the guys are ready, they're going to look to come up with a huge stop.
And how awesome is it? All day the offense has been going off the field, hanging their heads. Mike, sorry, defense, you got to go back out there. I know you haven't had much time over here on the sidelines. Get back out there. Oh, by the way, your back's been pinned against the wall most of the day. But this time the offense goes off the field smiling, looking at the defense saying, hey, you kept us in it, and now we got a lead, and if you keep playing like you have today, you got a chance to win us this ball game and get an overtime road win in the Jayhawk Conference.
10-3 lead as we're in the first overtime here in Hutch today. In regulation, just a pair of field goals being the only points of the action. Jones rolling out to pass on a first down play. He's got a man out on the far side, and it's going to be caught just about a yard shy of the first down, as that was hauled in by the hands of Tavian Allen. And about 9, well, they're going to give him the first down, it looks like. So 10-yard gain and a first down on the chain mover there from Jones to Allen on the far side.
Isaiah Gray with the sure tackle. That's the thing you got to be careful about here if you're the Scotties, is no one gets behind you and wrap up and hold on. Can't afford any broken tackles here.
Ball's at the 15-yard line for a 1st and 10. Jones will go under center. Calls for his fullback to move out of the backfield for a moment. Rolls out on the play-action pass. Rolls out on the bootleg. He's goes to the end zone, and touchdown. Caught right there in the hands of Jalen Irwin, who hasn't even caught a pass all day. But Irwin tightrope walks the goal line and catches that one from 15 yards out. And pending the PAT, will go to a double overtime.
Well, I wouldn't be very confident if I was Hutchinson fans, as this is a kicker that's missed 3 times and had one blocked. So could the Scotties get in there and block this, or does he miss one? He's got the win. This one's straight on for the tie. And Highland going to take a timeout trying to ice the kicker.
Yep, Highland does indeed call the timeout. Niemeyer, like you said, confidence maybe rattled a bit. He did make the field goal to give them the lead, but that was one of his 5 opportunities. He had one blocked, missed 3, and ultimately now has a PAT standing in front of him for the first time, which he has been perfect on, 22 of 22 this season. But Highland has blocked an extra point this year so far.
And a field goal earlier in this game.
Yep, indeed so. Jones, of course, finding Irwin for the touchdown of 15 yards. And pending the extra point would be a tie ball game and force a second overtime here in Hutchinson between these Jayhawk Conference foes. Highland looking for maybe a big play here to take it with the blocked extra point.
I didn't expect that. Hutch came out, 2 quick throws and touchdown. Man, they made it look pretty easy, didn't they?
They did. Niemeyer set to hit this PAT, and good one there. There's no doubt about it. Straight down the chute. Best kick he's put together all day. That one was a beauty, high enough and, well, right down the middle. So the PAT is good. First overtime in the books, and we will head to a second overtime here in Hutchinson. You're watching on the Scotty Sports Network and listening to this Jayhawk Conference Showdown on 103.9 KNZA.
Hi, this is Diamond Dan for Diamonds by Design Jewelry Stores. Diamonds by Design is a full-service jewelry store with a variety of fine jewelry to fit every budget. Come in and let Marcia and her staff help to make your special occasion even more special. Diamonds by Design, locally owned and operated for over 15 years, and we specialize in custom design jewelry with a full-time designer in-house and computer software that lets you build your very own custom design jewelry. Come see Diamonds by Design at 21st and Wanamaker in Topeka.
103.9 FM, KNZA.
Well, one overtime has been done. Both teams with a touchdown and extra point. Touchdown passes at that. And the first touchdowns of the ball game come in OT. And you're watching on the Scotty Sports Network this Jayhawk Conference Showdown, listening on 103.9 KNZA. Highland Community College looking for their 3rd win of the season and looking for their 2nd Jayhawk Conference win as well. Hutch looking to remain undefeated in Jayhawk Conference play. Would be their 3rd league win and their 4th win overall on the season.
Jayhawk Conference wide open. Every team in the conference has at least one loss, whether it's in conference play or not, already this season. So going to be a lot of tight games, competitive games. Used to kind of be the difference was, each school was limited on how many out-of-staters they could have. So the difference was who could get the best in-state kids that were going to have to be on the field that could make the difference. Well, now with those limits kind of, released a little bit, I think the playing field is really kind of evened out in the Jayhawk Conference, and there are are phenomenal athletes. This has always been one of the premier conferences in the nation, but now maybe even better with no limits on the roster. So Hutch will get the football first this time in double OT. You'll see if the Scotty defense can fare a little bit better, and then they'll have a chance to answer, of course.
2 quick plays, and Hutch found the end zone on their first overtime for them their drive. Jones takes the snap, rolls out, looking to pass. He's under a little pressure. Now going to lob it to the end zone and airmails it to the back corner as that pass will go incomplete, intended for Jalik Jagwe. But a little bit of pressure bearing down on Jones when he was rolling out. Rico Hanna, the linebacker, in on coverage along with Trey Barrett. But Lauren Young, who has been a monster up front on the line with quarterback pressures. Not maybe getting the sacks, but he's just got multiple sacks this year. Actually has a half sack at least this game.
I was just going to mention, man, a sack or an interception, some big play by the defense here, and they still have a chance to help win this game.
2nd and 10 from the 25. Jones will take it, put it in the breadbasket of Waller. Waller gets to the second level and gets about to the 20-yard line. And Kendrick Caddis in on the tackle. Jeremiah Hill as well. Hill stopped somebody from checking in for him.
Andre Peterson, was going to come in, but
that's the gamer in Jeremiah Hill. He wants to be out there for what they need, but there's an injury timeout. Hutch player down on the field around the 25. So it's going to be 3rd and 5 for the Blue Dragons at the 20 here in second overtime. Tied at 10 apiece between these two teams. And Hutch has started with the offense side here in second overtime.
Kind of a tough spot, too. They have a 3rd down and 5 play coming up. I don't know if they're comfortable enough to run it on a 5-yard situation, so I would expect Hutch to try to put something in the air, maybe roll out the quarterback. Both teams have had success kind of getting their quarterbacks out of the pocket a little bit, especially here with the touchdown passes in the first overtime. So I expect some kind of pass play, roll out the quarterback, see if Highland can make one stop right here, Mike, and force a field goal and give them a better chance in double OT.
The right guard that was down, by the way, Robert Lacey, and he comes out of the contest, and the normal starter, Jason Toussaint, comes actually back in that spot. Jones with a 3rd and 5 play. Takes the snap, looking to pass. He's got plenty of time now, of hand in his face, and an incomplete pass. Oh, man, it was there to be caught, but 3 different defenders converged. Darius Johnson, Trey Barrett, and Rico Hanna converge on the would-be pass catcher, who's down on the 2-yard line and took a big-time hit. Hunter Sims was the intended target, and, man, did he take a lick.
Yeah, he did, and I think he kind of felt that pressure coming, Mike, because that was a drop pass. The ball was thrown really well, but he felt, I think, that he was about to get hit and sandwiched from 2 or 3 different Scotties, and he dropped the pass. Not that I certainly could do any better if you feel that kind of footsteps and pressure around you, but he's struggling here, and he tried to get up twice and then almost kind of fell back down. So a little woozy is Hunter Sims coming to the sideline, and a field goal try. This one won't be what we would call easy, as it's about a 37-yard attempt here for Hutch.
Be put down at the 27, so like you said, 37-yarder. Right hash. Niemeyer, who's missed 4 field goals already, netted 1, will go for a field goal here on this 4th down play in double overtime. Set down good, and this one up, and it's going to be good. Gets in around the upright on the left side, and the field goal is good from 37 yards out. But the Scotties get the ball here in second overtime, and if they score a touchdown, they can win the ball game.
Yep, they have a chance to answer. It's a good spot to be in now as the second team. You know that worst case, a field goal to force triple overtime, but all you know is that you have to get a touchdown here, and you got the victory. We'll see what the offense can do. They look pretty good in first overtime. Tried to mix in some runs early, a nice bounce-out run, and I think if they're going to run, the perimeter might be the way to go. Willie Jordan, the running back. Tristan Spear took over as quarterback in the 4th quarter. He's done a good job with the Scotty offense.
Spear has 2 backs in the backfield, the fullback to his left and the tailback Jordan to his right. Spear will put it in the breadbasket of Jordan, who is going to be ankle tackled quickly, and great penetration straight through the line. Lewis Wallace in on the tackle, and maybe getting back to the line of scrimmage. Actually may lose a yard that time around.
Yeah, he beat Torrey Boone, one of the team captains for the Scotties up front. Don't want to go backwards like they did a yard on that play, and now may be forced to put the football in the air a bit.
And Spear will go under center now with the tight end tight to the near side. Jordan the back in the backfield. And Jordan takes it again, and he spins into a defender, and Humphrey holds on on his hip and brings him down. Got the yard that they lost back, but now it's 3rd and long, 3rd and 10. Represented for our Highland right here on the 25-yard line.
Yeah, from here it's like a, 42-yard field goal? That's not easy. Going to have to try to pass here to at least move the sticks at the 15-yard line is where they need to get to keep the offense on the field.
3rd and 10. Right in front of the Scotties from the 25-yard line. Second overtime, and timeout called by Highland to talk things over on a crucial 3rd down. Need 10 yards to keep this drive alive and try to get a touchdown to win the ball game. Of course, maybe some yardage positive in the right direction as well, at least to make the field goal try a little bit easier. But you don't even want to worry about that at this point. You want to try to get the first down as Highland calls the timeout to talk things over. But Tristan Spear came in, Justin, like you said. We've seen 3 different quarterbacks overall in this ball game, though. Best wishes again to Xavier Shepard Jr., who left the game on a stretcher with an injury. We'll hopefully keep you up to date on that moving forward as the week progresses next week for our Highland. Highland now with a 3rd and 10 play in front of them from the 25-yard line here in 2nd overtime.
Well, they haven't had much opportunities throwing the ball downfield. Most of their passes have been more short-hitting plays that they've been able to break a tackle or turn upfield, except the touchdown pass in the first OT.
Held Hutch to a field goal, but they want a touchdown to the Scotties to try to get the W. Spear in the shotgun. Jordan in the backfield. Motion man is Jamison. Now they do hand it off to Jordan, and Jordan just goes straight up the gut again. It gets some positive yards, but only about 4 yards gained on 3rd down. And here comes the field goal unit on the field. So they go conservative to the Scotties in that situation. And field goal kicker William Solomon coming out to try to push this one to a 3rd overtime.
39-yarder instead of a 42-yarder, so got 3 yards on the run up the middle. Now Solomon tried to send it to triple OT.
Solomon as they place down, and this is a low line drive kick that's not high enough. Incomplete and no good on the kick, and Highland will fall in double overtime, 13-10. Not enough air underneath that Solomon kick, and Hutchinson, who looked to try to give that one away to Highland today. Instead, the Blue Dragons come out victorious, and the Scotties will fall to 2-2 on the season as they lose it in double overtime, 13-10. A missed 39-yard field goal in the 2nd overtime leads the Scotties to the loss. Unfortunately, on the road for the first loss on the road this season, but now a 2-2 record on the year and 1-2 in the Jayhawk Conference. We'll have post-game wrap-up when we return here on the Scotty Sports Network and 103.9 KNZA.
The Bank of Highland has made a commitment. One, to provide a banking experience that is dependable, dedicated, and loyal to their customers. They offer many services, including standard checking and savings accounts, as well as loans for agriculture, homes, and autos. They want to be your trusted financial partner. The Bank of Highland, branch of Bendina State Bank, making life better right here at home. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Highland Community College surprises a lot of people. Generally thought as one of the smallest, Highland is actually in the middle of the 19 Kansas community colleges in enrollment. Its Highland campus has a real college feel with housing, athletics, student organizations, theater, concerts, art shows, an operating farm, and distinctive academic programs in its regional centers that cover the college's 9-county service area in northeast Kansas. Viticulture, enology, precision agriculture, diesel, construction technology, early childhood. Check it out, Highland Community College, online at highlandcc.edu.
103.9 FM, KNZA.
Well, we wrap it up matchup here from Hutchinson. A double overtime thrilling affair, but Scotty's unfortunately on the wrong side of the win-loss column. They fall in double OT 13-10 to Hutchinson. And Justin, of course, how this one unfolded was a defensive battle early on. Highland's defense kept the Scotties in this ball game because Hutchinson had a multitude of opportunities for themselves. They missed 3 field goals. They got one blocked and finally got one in the fourth quarter, but had another opportunity that stalled out just outside of the red zone as well in the first half, and we went into halftime scoreless. We went into the fourth quarter scoreless, and they finally got that field goal by Luke Niemeyer from 33 yards out with 11:11 left to go in the game. And then Highland, they couldn't move anything. They tried 3 different quarterbacks, tried multiple different other playmakers, and finally put together a 14-play drive that culminated for over 62 yards covered. And with 5 seconds to go in regulation, William Solomon kicked a 25-yard field goal. He, of course, missed a 47-yarder off the crossbar early on in the game that would have given Highland the initial 3-0 lead. But it's 3-3, and we go to overtime, and first overtime, the teams trade touchdowns on touchdown passes, and then you go to second OT. Hutch gets the ball first. They get stopped, have to kick the field goal. They get that field goal from 37 yards out. Highland comes out and unfortunately didn't do much on the first few plays. They get a few yards on third down, but not the first down, and have to kick the field goal themselves, and, well, it falls short on the Solomon kick there, and that ends the game 13-10 in double overtime.
Now, tough loss when you play so hard and you fight so hard and your defense plays so phenomenal and you're on the road in the Jayhawk Conference and you have an opportunity to win. I mean, a lot of opportunities. There was a missed field goal earlier in the game. There was the offense getting the ball at the end of the game at the 4-yard line with the first down in the final minute. Couldn't punch it in. They had a chance to win the game right there. Just too many chances, and when you're on the road in the Jayhawk Conference, you don't have too many opportunities to win. When those opportunities present themselves, you got to capitalize. And, despite the offense underachieving and underperforming here today, Highland still had opportunities to win this football game, in large part because of their defense, special teams making a play with the blocked field goal as well. But Highland makes just a couple trips inside the red zone all day, only able to score on one of those prior to the overtime, and only gets 141 yards of offense. Pretty tough to win a game in this conference, especially on the road, with just 141 yards of total offense.
Yeah, the statistics are not overly drastically in favor of Hutchinson, but they do outgain Highland 253 to 141 and pass for 215 yards in the game. They didn't run for much, only 38 yards. Highland actually outrushed them ultimately in the contest with 45 yards, but Scotty's had a couple of shorter fields with the turnovers early on in the first half and unable to capitalize on those, and, well, Highland falls unfortunately in double overtime 13-10 in this showdown against Hutch, and falls to 2-2 now on the season. Also, Hutch snaps a 2-game losing streak to Highland in the process. Some of the other final numbers here for us in the contest: 10 first downs garnered for Highland, 13 for Hutchinson in the matchup. Already mentioned the yardage capacity here in this one, but both teams with an interception, and also both teams with a fumble recovery in the contest. Both teams penalty-wise basically a wash there. 6 for 50 yards for Hutch and 5 for 40 yards for Highland in the matchup. Third down conversion, just 4 of 17 for Highland, 8 of 19 though for Hutchinson in the matchup. Red zone scoring chances, 1 for 4 for Hutch and 1 for 2 for Highland in this matchup. Hutchinson in the victory had Cam Jones go 16 of 30, 215 yards and a touchdown pass. Rushing wise, they were led by Deshaun Waller, 11 carries and 37 yards. Receiving, Jalik Jagwe had 3 catches for 60 yards in the showdown. Highland in the loss, Willie Jordan had 46 yards on 14 carries. Kevin Brown just 14 yards on 12 carries. Kyle Kearns 7 of 18, 43 yards passing. Tristan Spear 8 of 14 with 53 yards passing, a touchdown, but also tossed an interception. The touchdown caught by Ronnie Jameson, 5 catches for 26 and a touchdown, 4 catches for 33 for Albert Howard in the matchup. Also 2 catches for 18 for Willie Jordan, and there for Highland in this contest. But Justin, the big point of emphasis in this matchup is just missed opportunities for both teams. But Hutchinson makes it pay dividends for themselves, ultimately getting the win, and those missed opportunities didn't hurt them ultimately in the grand scheme of things as much as it did for the Scotties here today.
And give Luke Niemeyer some credit. I mean, it's tough to miss 3 field goals in a game, have one blocked, but the coach showing confidence in him, send him back out there in the fourth quarter. He hit one, and then again in double overtime, steps right up there and hits one. So that's not easy, and he did his job to ultimately get the plays there at the end. It's a tough loss for Highland, but hey, this Hutch team now 4-1 and 3-0 in the Jayhawk Conference. A very good team, and maybe just as good as Highland defensively. I mean, man, they looked good on defense here today, especially their defensive line. I thought did a good job. I don't know how the offensive line will grade out overall for Highland, but I thought that the defensive line for Hutch definitely played very, very well, and obviously limiting Highland to the yardage that they did. And Scotty's got some questions, but they have some time and some bigger games coming up on the schedule, so there will certainly be more opportunities. It's just tough to go on the road and have this opportunity and not quite be able to come away with the win.
No doubt about it. Highland has another bye week on their hands coming up next week, so opportunity to rest and relax and learn from this one and move forward, and hopefully move forward in the right direction. They'll get some home cooking after that, taking on Butler and Independence following those two, or this bye week coming up for Highland. Of course, Hutch for themselves will be in action against Iowa Central coming up next week for their contest. But, well, that's going to do it for us today. Thanks for Kurt Kilman back at the studio. Of course, the guys running the Scotty Sports Network as well. Justin, thanks for taking, of course, the trip down here to Hutch, too, to join me for the broadcast today. And, Hutch gets the better of Highland today, 13-10 in double overtime, as the Scotties, with the loss, fall to 2-2 on the season and 1-2 in conference play. Thanks for listening and watching on the Scotty Sports Network, and thanks for tuning in on MSCSports.net and 103.9 KNZA.
Thanks for listening to coverage of Highland Community College Athletics on 103.9 KNZA.
This is KNZA, Hiawatha, 103.9 FM.
Well, in North Carolina, way back in...
All right, Mike. You still there?
Yeah, hold on.
Okay, bud.
Cool. Yeah, I'm here.